You're watching Southland Conference football on ESPN+. Well, it's been a long time, 357 days, but college football is back in Abilene, Texas. And today, the hometown ACU Wildcats get ready to host Division II's AngeloSt Rams of the Lone Star Conference. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into our socially distanced broadcast booth. Zach Carlisle alongside Owen Simpson. Glad to have you with us. Well, we weren't sure what 2020 was going to look like, but we have a college football season. And these are two teams here today that were originally supposed to play in the spring, opted to play in the fall, and they're really building towards the future.
Yeah, there's really nothing at stake coming into this game for both these teams not playing in the spring, both ACU and AngeloSt. So really focused on the fall. They're going to have a great time today, and it's going to be exciting to see, again, as you mentioned, the first home game for AbileneChristian in nearly a year.
This is going to be some kind of matchup, and it really always comes down to quarterback play, does it not? As we look at our impact players today, we'll start with AngeloSt and its first-year starter junior, Zach Bronkhorst.
Zach Bronkhorst has really done a good job solidifying himself in that role. Obviously, a few turnovers early in this season, but as Coach mentioned for AngeloSt, he has become a true leader, and coming from a six-man high school experience playing football, really developing his quarterback personnel, coming into switching from six-man to 11-man, doing a good job thus far.
On the other side, it's first-year starter and former Iowa transfer Peyton Mansell for ACU.
And Peyton Mansell, not a lot of time on the field before this season, but since then has done a great job at his completion rate percentage, well over 65%. Had a few turnovers against Stephen F. Austin going back a couple weeks ago, but other than that, doing a great job protecting the ball in his first season at the starting position.
Had a game-winning drive last week against Mercer. It is AbileneChristian and AngeloSt, two longtime rivals, meeting here on the first Saturday in November. Kickoff from Abilene, Texas is next.
AngeloSt, you are the visiting team. The Eagle is ahead.
We believe that the first step towards positive change is to stand as one.
Driven by adversity.
We strive to discover truth, mutual understanding, and the common good.
We achieve more together than we do apart.
Every voice has a power.
We are a voice of change.
Bettering ourselves and our community.
Kindness is effortless.
Standing together through adversity.
Serving our communities, peers, and teammates.
Together we can learn, teach, empower, and promote change.
Tragedy cannot bring us down.
We are one.
For years, I trained to be the best linebacker on the field. That drive made me a top performer at the NFL Combine, and I played 5 seasons in the NFL. Now I'm working toward another dream, building my own business, training athletes to help improve their performance. I want to be the best businessman I can, so I'm getting my MBA at ACU.
Get your degree online at acu.edu.
Wildcat Stadium, a building that opened in 2017 in its 4th year as the home of AbileneChristian. It's a beautiful day today. Gorgeous day for football here in November. 79 degrees. Not expecting any issues throughout the rest of the day. Weather-wise, a gorgeous day for football. AngeloSt and AbileneChristian, the Wildcats, won the toss and will elect to receive today. Here's the series history. These two teams playing for the 51st time they've been playing since 1965. ACU moved to Division I in 2013. ACU won the toss and deferred to the second half. AngeloSt will receive the opening kickoff here today. So we're going to get a chance to see this Rams offense on the road at a Division I school. They went to SFA earlier this season and played well with the Lumberjacks.
And they really did. And they talked a lot about this coming into this matchup. Okay, we just have to fix a few things to stay in this game. There were a few turnovers and a few costly plays that ultimately made that game a big win for SFA. A few things to correct coming in today with AbileneChristian.
Blair Zepeda, 6 touchbacks on the season. Glad you're with us. Off we go from Abilene, Texas. And this game begins with a touchback. And so for AngeloSt, their offense, with offensive coordinator Kevin Kilmer and quarterback Zach Bronkhorst, we mentioned it. Here's a guy who's in his first year as the starter for AngeloSt and coming on the road. He's adjusting as the starter for the Rams. They like what he's been doing this year.
No, yeah, he's taking his time to adjust, averaging about 200 yards passing a game. He's had a few costly interceptions that have made things a little bit more difficult, but this guy, he has transitioned from playing 6-man high school football and now changing over obviously to 11-man here in college. That's a big transition to make at the quarterback position.
1st and 10 for AngeloSt, and they start on the ground. This is a well-balanced attack for this Ram offense. Nate Omayabu III, the starting running back for the Rams. The rest of the starters. And up front, this is a group with Webb, Neal, Fernandez, Wozniak, and Patrick that have started every game so far this season, and they like what they have at the skill position players. You'll see a lot of Landry, Johnson, and Green from the receivers. Now a fake and a throw to the outside, and that's knocked away by the corner Tristan Anderson looking for Rasheen Green. The AbileneChristian defense, this is a team that's giving up about 31 points per game. They've played a lot of FBS schools as well. They like the linebackers with Hargrove, Hunter Keir, and Jack Gibbons, a talented group on that side of the ball.
Oh yeah, they knew going into this season there were going to be challenges and holes that needed to be filled into this 2020 season. They've done thus far. They've looked to slowly improve throughout the season. Coach Adam Dorrell for AbileneChristian has spoke highly of this defense this season.
And it's skewed a little bit when you play teams like
Exactly.
UTEP and Army early on in the year. 3rd down and 8. Bronkhorst under pressure, trying to take off for the first down, and he's got a long way to go and won't get there. It's just a gain of a couple. Jack Gibbons was in there. Quintet as well on the stop, pick up a 2, and it's a quick 3 and out for AngeloSt.
And a big stop for AbileneChristian. What we'll probably see going forward with AngeloSt, they love to have a balanced attack, both passing the ball and running. I'd expect more of that going on into the next possession for the Rams.
And so AngeloSt will punt for the first time. Jared DeFelice, one of the men back there that punt this year. They've had a few different guys kick the football, and here's one with Jordan Brooks West back to return it for AbileneChristian, and it hops down all the way near the 25-yard line and a 40-yard boot. And now we get a chance to see the AbileneChristian offense for the first time, and we talked about it at the top, but Peyton Mansell getting better and better and better for AbileneChristian. Here's a guy who hasn't started a game in 3 years coming into this year.
Exactly, and when you take a look at those stats, when you look at it as a whole throughout the first 4 games, at his starting helm for AbileneChristian, it looks a little deceiving. And what I mean by that, it says 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Well, 3 of those interceptions came from one game. So other than that one game against Stephen F. Austin, he has done a great job protecting the ball on offense.
They love the football IQ of this guy, the transfer from Iowa in his first year at ACU. Mansell fakes a toss and takes off. Another guy who can move. They love his legs. One of the faster guys on the team in Peyton Mansell, and a dual threat guy, very strong, well built. He's from Texas and now playing in his home state here at ACU.
And go back to last season with AbileneChristian, Luke Anthony at the helm for the quarterback. He's not a guy who liked to run the ball as much as we see with Peyton Mansell, so a new weapon that this offense can use.
2nd down and 7 for the Wildcats. They go on the ground with Tyrese White and runs into a ton of AngeloSt Rams. Weston Bauer, the defensive end, one of them, right in there to stop the run. This has been an AngeloSt defense that has stopped the run well this year, and a defense that feels like they can make some noise. They feel like they're really, really improving on that defensive side. Their head coach, Jeff Gersh, he's a defensive guy who's been a D coordinator in the past. They like what they have on that side of the ball.
And
third down and 4 for ACU.
Great opportunity to set the tone for the Wildcats. Not doing great on third down conversions so far this season.
They handed on the jet sweep. It's been a staple of this offense for Abilene Christian, Darius Lewis, but he's met right at the line of scrimmage. And no gain, the safety Derek Dickerson Jr. with a stop, and AngeloSt forces a 3-and-out to start the game.
So 2 big defensive stops for both these teams. So again, here's what we're going to see. What we go back to that 2018 matchup, not a lot of offense in the first half between these two teams. We could be seeing a repeat if this is to continue after what we've seen so far.
Logan Berg averaging 34 yards a boot this season. We'll maybe try to pin AngeloSt back inside the 20-yard line. Chris Brooks back deep to return the punt for the Rams, and it's a good one. Bounces at the 10 and goes out of bounds at the 8-yard line. A wonderful kick. 57-yard kick. No score. Both teams empty early. Both teams with just 5 yards of offense so far in their opening possessions of the game. And now AngeloSt pinned back inside the 10-yard line. It'll go on the ground with Nate Omayabu. And gets maybe a couple of yards. Jordan Pop on the stop.
And Omayabu really getting his hefty amount of carries in so far. 3 games, 40 carries, 163 yards. So he has been the go-to in the backfield for the Rams so far this season.
Sophomore out of Sherman, Texas. A team that is about 50-50 run pass this year. Now a handoff on that right side, and picking it up for the first down out across the 20-yard line is Omayabu, and he had a head of steam with great blocking on the right side.
Exactly, great blocking, a huge hole for Omayabu to run right up. That was big for the offensive line, big first down.
If anything, just some breathing room for the Rams after that 57-yard boot from Abilene Christian's Logan Burke. And the Rams back to the ground. And Omayabu again, a big body, 5'11", 240 pounds.
And what you typically see from those guys is just run it straight up the middle full force. He did a good job with his patience on that last play. Only got a couple yards out of it. But again, he's waiting for the offensive line to develop the play for him.
And Quinn Titt was out there with a stop. Also the new cornerback down there at the bottom of the screen, Christopher Satterfield, number 2. Back to the ground again and exploiting it across the 35 and out near the 40-yard line. Alfred Greer, the change of pace back, the 5'6" sophomore with a burst of speed for 18 yards.
And when you want to talk about rushing, it's been Omayabu and Greer taking the bulk of the carries.
And now back to the ground again, and Greer down the sideline, racing to the end zone for the touchdown. 61 yards in a blur, and AngeloSt goes in front on the road.
And take a look at that hurry-up offense from Greer. They took it full steam ahead after a big play and made an even bigger one. And the Rams strike first in this one.
Just on the ground the entire drive. And it was Greer who can absolutely fly for the touchdown.
And we hadn't seen that speed yet. We had seen a lot of patience from him, but it paid off finally. 6 points for AngeloSt.
Now the extra point, Jared DeFelice, and the extra point is good. I mean, how about that? 5 plays, 92 yards. That's an impressive drive from AngeloSt, a very good Division II program, about 80 miles from here in Abilene.
And what we saw was a great offensive line, what looked like a Division I offensive line, absolutely taking down the Wildcats on the defensive side. Lots of great blocking, lots of great runs on that drive.
Yeah, that was a combination of Omayabu and Greer. 61-yard house call. And the Rams, who are familiar with playing Abilene Christian well, we saw a game here 2 years ago, and AngeloSt had the lead at halftime against Abilene Christian. The Wildcats pulled away in the second half, but the Rams gave them a scare 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 24 unanswered points for the Rams to take the lead at halftime. After that, again, as you mentioned, the Wildcats came back. But AngeloSt gave the Wildcats a fight 2 years ago they weren't expecting. it looks like they're off to a start once again with this 2 years later.
This is an Angelo State team that was 8-3 a season ago and was really one game away from being in the NCAA Division II playoffs. They like what they have under third-year head coach Jeff Gersh, who was on this staff as a longtime defensive coordinator, and now in his third year leading the program. From the 15-yard line, Jordan Brooks-West trying to get some good field position for AbileneChristian, and he gets across the 30. And so now this ACU offense, which has shown flashes throughout the season, maybe still looking for some consistency, now comes out on the field down 7-0.
And that's exactly what has been the story for AbileneChristian, has been the inconsistency on this offense. Sometimes you can see them put up 3 or 4 consecutive scoring drives, but they can also do the same with a drought, go 3 or 4 straight 3-and-outs. So again, they're down 7, big possession here for the Wildcats.
ACU trailed by a touchdown in the fourth quarter last week at Mercer and scored 10 unanswered points to win the game. Quick screen to the outside, L.J. McConnell on the reception, and a quick tackle made on the edge. And that was safety Letty French II. And no space for these receivers early on.
And Angelo State is going to have to keep their eyes on L.J. McConnell, arguably one of the fastest players on this AbileneChristian offense.
Good safety play, good corners from Angelo State as well. The corners Devin Washington and Deshaun Douglas. And now a 3-receiver set, and Mansell rolls out and completes it once again to McConnell. Back-to-back catches for a couple of yards. And without Kobe Clark in the lineup today for ACU, they're going to need L.J. McConnell.
Now, when you go back to Kobe Clark, that is one of the most consistent wide receivers for AbileneChristian. Broke AbileneChristian's program record for most receptions in a season as a sophomore last year. He's out today, so they're going to really have to rely on McConnell to help them get some key first downs. Another big third down here for ACU.
3rd and 5. And you mentioned Kobe Clark, 3 touchdowns this season already as well, not in the lineup. Mansell blitz, late blitz off the edge, and a sack for the Ram defense. It was the linebacker Darren Allman who came home off the edge. And AbileneChristian with back-to-back 3-and-outs to start the game.
And it looked like Manziel's about to turn around to head outside the pocket and just didn't see him in time. Another big stop for these Rams. They have the momentum completely on their side.
A delayed blitz there from Allman. Tied for the team lead in tackles coming in, and now he's got 3.5 sacks this season. Logan Burke will punt again. And back near the 20, Chris Brooks comes out with it. And he gets across the 30-yard line. And Angelo State brings their offense out leading by 7. These two teams playing for the 51st time. Longtime rivals. 7-0 ACU.
The thing about ACU TV is that we're telling a story, and we're telling ACU's story through the perspective of students and for students. And I think that's just a really unique experience.
To work at ACU TV is probably the best experience you will get in a college setting.
Being able to do it for football games like out here is like for game days experience, it was awesome. Being able to see your shots and then being able to look back at it and saying like, wow, that was my shot, it was awesome.
So in my experience during basketball season was amazing. The work on the floor, getting to teach people, and then also getting to be right there with the basketball players. I couldn't compare it to anything I had done before.
ACU has given me so many opportunities that I would have never had at another school. As soon as I started my freshman year, I just dove straight into it. They let me technical direct for ESPN games. I started making features that were shown on ESPN.
This is something that almost no university in America can really offer to their students. To be able to go on air on ESPN and ESPN production for a college student is something that a lot of people don't even think is possible. But here at ACU TV, we're given that opportunity. We're given an opportunity to grow and just be able to experience an atmosphere unlike any of us have seen before.
For us to show that this campus is more than just football or more than just basketball is so important.
We're here for the campus. We're here to better the community and show that ACU has a lot of great things going on.
And something that I think is super exciting and really beneficial for the ACU community is we do everything. We have a little bit of something for everybody, and I think that that kind of just elevates and saying we're focused on everybody in community as a whole, and I think that that's really important, and ACU TV does a really good job of showing that.
Angelo State outgaining AbileneChristian 97-4 so far as we approach the halfway point of the first quarter. Angelo State back to work. Into the air they go with Kellen Pachot on the sideline. And they'll give him about 7 or 8 yards.
And what a great move here. Looked like he was headed out of bounds and just absolutely just moved right on past the Wildcat defense right there. Get a couple extra yards. That's the extra fight that every coach loves to see.
Put the brakes on Tristan Anderson. Now back to the ground, which has worked so well so far for Angelo State. Nate Omayabu loses a couple that time.
That was a big stop for the Wildcats. Momentum continuously going in favor for ASU. One of the few tackles for a loss for Angelo State so far today.
Osaraton Obadiyi with his 7th tackle of the season. Busting it up in the backfield. Now 3rd and 4. Angelo State this season just 35% on 3rd down. 4-man rush. Bronkhorst taking a shot down the sideline, and a flag comes out. Looking for a deep ball, and it was the safety Brian Bullock who's going to get flagged for AbileneChristian. Everything going right so far for the Rams. Scott Harden, the referee.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 26. 15-yard penalty.
Is going to get flagged.
Automatic. First down.
For the defensive pass interference.
And we talked about this a little bit before coming on the game. A few key penalties for this Wildcat team has really cost them a lot of first downs. And when you look at that one, you just have to avoid the contact. You're completely opposite side of the ball, looking right at the receiver. They're going to call that one 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, you got to get your head turned around defensively. So the penalty moves it into AbileneChristian territory from the Wildcat 48, and a stumble here from Omayabu. And they're going to mark him behind the line of scrimmage. He's lost his footing. And it was Alfred Greer. Alfred Greer, the backup running back who had the big, long 61-yard touchdown a previous possession.
And we're going to keep seeing both Greer and Omayabu consistently come in and out.
Right.
This is a dual back system that Angelo State loves to use.
It's kind of a thunder and lightning situation. At least that's what Coach Gersh was telling us when we talked to him about this offense. You got the bigger back in Omayabu who can power through, and then Greer's the speedster. Flag on this handoff to Greer up the middle for 2 yards. But the flag came right at the line of scrimmage. And AbileneChristian may have lined up offsides.
Offside defense, number 99, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty.
So Osaraton Obadiyi.
Still second down.
And a free 5 yards. And again, penalties for this Wildcat defense has been kind of a bugaboo this year for ACU.
Yeah, you go back to last week in the win against Mercer, 6 penalties in that game, but 3 of those forcing another first down for the opposing team. So again, this is something that head coach Adam Dorrell has talked about every season with this team, and the same as in 2020.
Empty backfield and a quarterback draw for Bronkhorst, who gets near the marker right at the line of scrimmage. They moved 4 receivers to the left, and it's a first down for the Rams.
Great job blocking on offense for Angelo State, creating a little bit more of separation for Bronkhorst to get a few extra yards and another first down.
Hunter Keir with the tackle. 1st and 10 from the AbileneChristian 38. Angelo State in full command here, and now another good run on first down. And again, Alfred Greer, who's averaging over 9 yards a carry here in this first quarter.
And he keeps it up today. He's going to have well more than 9 yards a carry. 4 rushes going up and around. Well over, actually over now 80 rushing yards, including that 1 big touchdown. So again, Angelo State continuing to run the ball and just absolutely go up against this defense and this defensive line for AbileneChristian.
106 rush yards in this opening quarter for the Rams. Now play action. Bronkhorst going to take off. And he's A yard and a half shy of the first down. Jack Gibbons on the stop. The captain for ACU leads the team with 28 tackles.
So here we go again. Bronkhorst showing off he can run the ball as well. Like, yeah, that's his third carry in today's game here in the first quarter. So Bronkhorst can run and pass. It's something that ACU has to take a strong note of if they want to change things in the second quarter.
You figure 4-down territory for AngeloSt here. Well, prior to a third down, a timeout called
AbileneChristian will take
by
their first
AbileneChristian.
timeout of the half.
They've got some things to sort out defensively. AngeloSt rolling up 7-0, facing a third down on the other side. Abilene, Texas, AngeloSt on the road leading 7-0. Upset alert, maybe? It's early on here at Wildcat Stadium, and the Rams go on the ground, and it's Omayabu with a lane down the sideline. And the ground game continues to execute for AngeloSt. They go on the ground, and it's 24 yards on 3rd and 2.
And AbileneChristian has no answers whatsoever to stop the run game. Look at this guy. No one is getting in his way. Another first down, a 1st and goal. Just an unbelievable performance from this running team. AngeloSt coming early here in the first quarter.
Omayabu and Greer dominating. 132 rush yards for the Rams. Still 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. And now Bronkhorst on 1st and goal gives it up the middle. And down inside the 5 is Omayabu. Red zone offense for AngeloSt this year, very good. 7 out of 9 scoring. They just haven't been there a lot in their 3 games. And AbileneChristian defensively has struggled in the red zone, giving up 16 scores in 21 tries. 2nd and goal. Back to the ground. Left side into the end zone. Alfred Greer for the 2nd time today. And the Rams are going to go up 2 scores. And it's Greer both times for touchdowns.
And this is definitely not the way AbileneChristian wanted to start off their home slate in the 2020 season. An early advantage for AngeloSt. And again, the run game, there are no answers on defense for this Wildcat team.
They pulled the center, Alfredo Fernandez. It's a veteran offensive line that is showing up for AngeloSt. And the extra point is good from Albert Garcia. 14-0 AngeloSt. And AbileneChristian has gone on 2 3-and-outs. Meanwhile, the Rams 146 total yards and a lot of it on the ground.
Yeah, 146 yards to AbileneChristian's 4. This is the time, if AbileneChristian wants to stay in this game, they have to produce something on offense because the defense sure can't stop the run right now.
A 9-play, 69-yard drive in 4.5 minutes for the Rams of AngeloSt on the road. And we were talking to head coach Jeff Gersh, who said, hey, the guys are more excited about this game than they've had for any other game this season. Part of it is national television, something that's great exposure for the school. He said these guys had this game circled on the calendar when they built the schedule a couple of months ago.
And you've got to think, this is the last game of the season for AngeloSt. This is a shortened, it's 2020. We know this is going to be different for a lot of teams. So with it being already the last game of the year, they want to give it all they can because they're not going to be back on the field again until fall because they're also not playing in the spring just like AbileneChristian.
From the 16-yard line, Jordan Brooks-West. And gets good starting field position for AbileneChristian out across the 35-yard line, 20-yard return for the sophomore out of Fort Worth, Texas. So some questions and looking for answers for this ACU offense. How do they get this thing going? This team always says we want to establish the run, and they haven't done that so far.
Yeah, you have to imagine being down 2 scores early. They're going to start passing the ball more than they typically would like to. But as we see here on first down, they are really packing this offensive line.
From the 36-yard line to the ground they go. And the 4 or 5-yard pickup, a first down with Tyrese White. White is the starter, the junior out of Hampshire, Texas, taking over for Tracy James, the all-world running back from AbileneChristian over the last few years, but they really like the freshman Jeremiah Dobbins, who we haven't seen much of so far in this first quarter.
Yeah, Tyrese White has gotten the bulk of carries, but has struggled on the average of yards per carry so far this season, just under 4 yards a carry. Meanwhile, Jeremiah Dobbins, as we talked about, a freshman coming out and doing what was really unexpected from him, scoring the first touchdown of the season for AbileneChristian against UTEP back early in September. And then we go back again. Dobbins has just done a phenomenal job, but I'd expect to see him out a little bit more as this game continues.
Tyrese White was tackled by Darren Allman on that second down carry, and another third down for ACU, 0 for 2 so far. Facing 3rd down and 4, and they run it again, and it's White, and it doesn't look like he's going to get much. Just a yard and another 3 and out, and now we'll see if AbileneChristian decides to go for it on 4th down. 3 straight runs and nothing for the Wildcats.
And I really don't like that call, especially the way it's been going. You're down 14-0 against a Division II opponent nearing the end of the first quarter, and you run the ball 3 consecutive plays, and now you're stuck on your own, 45 or 44-yard line on a 4th down.
Needing 3 yards on 4th down. They go to the line quickly, and they run it again, and AbileneChristian can't find anything. AngeloSt's feeling great. It's a turnover on downs. The first man there was Letty French, the second, the safety. AbileneChristian runs it 4 times in a row, and it's a turnover on downs.
You have to question, okay, what are you doing? You run the ball 3 times, you can't get a first down, you can't get 10 yards, let alone you get 7 yards in 3 plays, and you run the ball again on your own side of the field. And now you could be going down possibly 21 points near the end of the first quarter because the defense has not been able to stop the run.
Not liking the opportunities to go to the air. They have not thrown the ball. AbileneChristian just 5 passing yards. AngeloSt's only thrown it for 7 yards. They haven't needed to put the ball in the air so far. And back to work they go from the ACU 43. And Bronkhorst keeps that on the fake. And Jack Gibbons drives him backwards after a pickup of 2.
Yeah, I think Gibbons was a little frustrated there. That was a big hit by the big man.
Jack Gibbons, the captain of this team, the senior, and talking to Adam Dorrell, just the cerebral player in Jack Gibbons. They think he's going to be a coach someday with just how smart he is on the football field. There's a handoff up the middle, and it's back to Alfred Greer, and again, the pile being pushed backwards, forward progress to the 40-yard line, and 3rd and 7 coming up.
And this probably has to be, for AbileneChristian, the best 2 consecutive plays you've had so far in this game. So now they're going to need to do that again. Another big, crucial 3rd down. AbileneChristian has to get AngeloSt off the field.
You figure from here, AngeloSt would punt if they don't gain another yard. They get down inside that 35. You would consider going for it on the road. Bronkhorst to throw, 3rd and 7, now up the middle, plenty of room to run, 1st down and more, down to the 25-yard line, needed 7 and got 15 on 3rd down.
A big run, obviously, from Bronkhorst, keeping and extending this drive, and you just see he has a window of opportunity, he takes it, doesn't hesitate. Big run for the Rams.
Bronkhorst, a guy who only came in with 85 rushing yards on the season. But a combination of him and their 2 running backs, it's been spectacular, and that is how the first quarter comes to an end. AngeloSt with a 14-0 lead on the road in Abilene, Texas after 1. Start of the second quarter, 14-0 AngeloSt over AbileneChristian for Southland Conference football on ESPN. Zach Carlisle, Owen Simpson, glad to have you with us today here in West Texas. And Bronkhorst fakes on 1st down and misses his tight end, Dagan Dunham, for an incomplete pass to bring up 2nd down. But, boy, it's been all AngeloSt, totally dominating on the field and in the stat sheet.
And what we witnessed was just a very rare pass from AngeloSt, only the 3rd so far of this game. They have done a fantastic job running the ball just right up the gut of AbileneChristian so far today.
Averaging 9 yards a carry are the Rams, and back to the ground they go with Nate Omayabu the 3rd, the sophomore out of Sherman, Texas. and gains maybe a yard. So third down coming up. And this AbileneChristian defense has been gashed the last 2 drives. They're looking for anything positive here, and a third down stop would be something in the right direction.
And we're finally witnessing some resistance over the past few plays from AbileneChristian on defense, forcing AngeloSt to now 2 consecutive 3rd and longs. What we saw last time was Bronkhorst taking it on his feet, getting the first down. We'll see what happens here.
Bronkhorst 1 for 3 through the air for 7 yards, but he's run it for 28 on 5 carries. Third down. Pressure. Bronkhorst steps up. Plenty of room again. Takes off at the 10. And he's down to the 9-yard line and a 16-yard run to set up 1st and goal for AngeloSt.
And that is the 2nd consecutive third down where we have seen Bronkhorst just simply make Wildcats miss on a crucial play. So again, what we're seeing here is AngeloSt extending the drive once more, and the Wildcats, they're going to be tired on defense if this continues.
Head coach Jeff Gersh saying that there's just the development, the invaluable experience that he's going to be getting this year, and what turns out to be basically a free year for the players during 2020 with COVID. And his confidence has grown more than ever, and it's definitely showing here as they will do another quarterback keeper. Bronkhorst down to the 2.
And I don't think that this was probably in their game plan for the Wildcats defense, but what we've seen is now the 7th rush from AngeloSt. You might want to consider putting a spy on this quarterback.
Injury on the field for AbileneChristian, and we'll take a timeout with him. 14-0, AngeloSt on the road.
Driven by adversity.
We strive to discover truth, mutual understanding, and the common good.
We achieve more together than we do apart.
Every voice has a power.
We are a voice of change, bettering ourselves and our community.
Kindness is effortless.
Standing together through adversity.
Serving our communities, peers, and teammates.
Together we can learn, teach, empower, and promote change.
Tragedy cannot bring us down.
We are one.
Adam Dorrell for ACU, 13-23 in his time with the Wildcats. Not a happy guy right now for AbileneChristian. Up the middle, AngeloSt, and trying to get a push at the goal line with Omayabu, and he is just inches outside the goal line. And 3rd and goal coming up, and now another stoppage on the field. It was Will Morgan who was hobbled for AbileneChristian, was able to come off the field during that timeout, and now Omayabu lost his helmet and has to leave for a play for AngeloSt. 3rd and goal just outside the 1. This feels like a big play early on in this first half.
And it's a 3rd consecutive third down for AngeloSt. They're 2 for 2 on this drive, looking to punch it in.
Hand it off up the middle and into the end zone for the 3rd time in the half is Alfred Greer. 3 TDs for the sophomore on the road. He's up to 7 touchdowns on the season.
And any fans here are absolutely silent. This is not something that they were expecting to see in today's matchup, especially so early of an advantage for AngeloSt. They have come to play. The Wildcats have just been caught looking on so many drives.
A fired up visitors sideline for the Rams. Extra point is good from Albert Garcia. 9-play, 43-yard drive in almost 4 minutes. And for the 3rd time, Greer goes into the end zone.
And he is having himself an afternoon. 7 carries, 88 yards, and then, as you mentioned, the 3rd touchdown today. I mean, you look at this game, it feels like one team came to play and the other one is still just waiting to warm up. That's just what I've seen so far from AbileneChristian. The sideline is just quiet, and it's not something that any head coach wants to see, especially so early in this game.
And down on the sideline is head coach Adam Dorrell talking to defensive coordinator Clint Brown. They're looking for answers, as is the ACU offense, which is about to come out on the field. The Wildcats are looking for a spark, and the Rams are starting to turn this into a snowball.
Let's go back to the last possession for AbileneChristian. They ran the ball 4 times, including on 4th down. If they run the ball again on the first 2 plays, even the first play, I don't know what they're doing. They need to pass the ball. I know that their star wide receiver, Kobe Clark, is out, but at this point in time, if you're down more than 20 points, you have to start passing the ball.
Short kick this time, and a fumble that is picked up on the run. Dangerous play for AbileneChristian. That did not look good from the beginning. And it looked like it was Reese Stafford. It was Reese Stafford who picked it up, and near disaster for AbileneChristian. It has not been going their way in this first half. Drive starts from the 28-yard line. ACU 11 total yards. And they fake a toss. To the air they go. And a pass wide to the tight end, Brandon Hohenstein. With the linebacker, Darren Allman, in coverage. 2nd and 10. Hohenstein, not a lot of catches, just 5, but he's averaging 25 yards per catch this season. He's been a big play guy at the tight end spot.
Yeah, when they go to him, it's usually for big plays, and we'll probably see more of that going forward because they have to have some few big explosive plays to get back in this game.
2nd and 10, to the air again. Down 21 zip, and Mansell takes off. Peyton Mansell gets across the 35, give him 9 yards. 3rd and 1 coming up. AbileneChristian does not have a first down to show for in this game so far.
And that run looked a little bit like Bronkhorst from AngeloSt, making a few moves for the extra yards. And Mansell just trying to do whatever he can to get the Wildcats back in this one.
Has a season-long run of 15 yards, gets 9 here. Now 3rd and 1. AbileneChristian does this a lot, where they come out of the huddle quickly to the line of scrimmage, and a quarterback sneak looks to be enough on the initial spot for a first down. And that's AbileneChristian's first down of this game.
They weren't exactly hoping that to come in the 2nd quarter, I'm pretty sure.
The 39-yard line. ACU goes quickly. One of the few teams in FCS that still goes under center. AbileneChristian. And now the freshman Jeremiah Dobbins, his first carry of the game. Gets to the outside for a couple. Shoved out by Derek Dickerson Jr., the safety.
And a good job by Dobbins fighting for something when there really ultimately is nothing. He had 3 defenders to beat, gets a couple yards out of it. That's something that they need just to start getting some form of momentum.
Any spark they're looking for. Dobbins, the freshman out of Lubbock Estacado High School. 2nd and 9. Mansell, quick screen to the outside. Darius Lewis makes the catch, just his 4th of the season. Good gain out across the 45.
And this is what AbileneChristian likes to do a lot, typically with L.J. McConnell, but a quick pass outside and letting the receiver do his work with a few lead blockers at the receiver position.
Well, time of possession is all one-sided. 11.5 to just under 6. Well over 2-to-1 ratio in the first half. And ACU needs a third down to keep this drive alive. Mansell, play action, pressured, corner route incomplete to L.J. McConnell, and that pressure got to Mansell again. Micah Flowers trying to get a sack.
And I'd have to say the best summary of the game so far is AngeloSt is making it harder for AbileneChristian on both sides of the field. We haven't seen that pressure from AbileneChristian on defense so far today.
And ACU will punt with Logan Burke. So AngeloSt continues to shine. They're going to force the 4th Wildcat punt of the half. Burke a chance to pin the Rams deep for the second time. This will bounce at the 15 and goes all the way down near the 10. 43-yard punt. And back comes out this Ram offense that has run for 182 yards in the first half. Impressive showing for AngeloSt.
When we talked to head coach Jeff Gersh earlier in the week, he said he loves a balanced attack. That is not happening today. We have 3 passes and 23 carries so far in this game, and I don't blame him. I would stick with the run while it works. You've got 23 carries and almost 200 yards, and we're barely at the beginning of the second quarter.
AngeloSt averages 195 yards rushing per game. They're 6 yards away from matching that total. And they start from the 11-yard line. And on the ground, right on cue. And Omayabu gets 1, maybe 2. Ran right into AbileneChristian, and one of them was the safety Brian Bullock, who is a guy who loves to come up and get tackles. Second on the team with 23 tackles coming in to today. 2nd and 9. The 28th play of the game for AngeloSt. They've run 12 more plays than AbileneChristian. Back to the ground again. Omayabu gets the edge. And another first down carry. Out to the 24-yard line. 12 yards on 2nd and 9.
And what you don't see on that play is the formation on the offense. They had 3 receivers out to the right, spreading out that Wildcat defense. And again, going to the left side of the field, giving a little bit more separation. And Omayabu has had already a big advantage with the offensive line, but that formation also gives them more of an advantage for the Rams so far.
3 receivers at the top here on 1st and 10. For the 23, Bronkhorst. He's used his legs all game and gets another first down carry, and he's shoved out of bounds by Gibbons after 12 more yards to the 35-yard line. Look at this ground total. AngeloSt, this is so one-sided right now.
I mean, there is no other way to describe it. This looks like classic old school football because there's no passing whatsoever. It's just run the ball in whatever way, whatever direction you want, and it's been working for AngeloSt.
A shocking development in this first half. No doubt about it. Up the middle again, more carries and more yards for the Rams. It continues to accumulate, and it's Zoran Rideau with a carry out near midfield.
And again, a great job by the offensive line, doing their job throughout the entire game so far. And a big hole right up the middle for the Rams. Another big first down.
Just the 2nd carry of the season for Rideau. A freshman out of Houston. Now Bronkhorst to throw, taking a shot down the sideline. And looking for a flag is Austin Landry, and he's not going to get it. Boy, that looked awfully close to pass interference again on the outside on Donovan Johnson.
And let's take a look at it one more time. I'm not sure if Johnson made any contact. Let's take a look. No, there is contact all over. But what it looks like, though, is the receiver really grabbing around Johnson's back, so that's a hard call to make for an official.
Did he get his head turned around too? Johnson, a sophomore to Cypress, Texas. Now play action to the middle, and a dime delivered inside the 40. And a great catch by Chris Brooks. Going to the turf, just a second catch of the season, and what a throw from Bronkhorst.
And a small window of opportunity, and it's hard for a quarterback who doesn't throw the ball much in a game like this to get right back in the rhythm and throw such a tight pass like that we just saw.
First down of the 38-yard line. The Rams shown the ability to go the length of the field. This drive started at the 11, and now Jack Gibbons wraps up. And I think that time it was back to Alfred Greer, and he gets maybe 2.
So what we've seen from Greer, that's 8 carries now, splitting it with Bronkhorst, with also has 8, and then Omayabu with 11. So again, that great balanced attack, running the ball from multiple runners, and then obviously the quarterback.
They love to show multiple looks. Kevin Kilmer in this offensive attack, the offensive coordinator for Angelo State. Bronkhorst to throw again, time. Rolls away and throws it away. To the sideline, and pressure starting to come there at the end of the play. Bronkhorst bailed on the pocket a little too quickly. Here's third downs. Hasn't gone so well so far for AbileneChristian, but Angelo State on third down is 4 of 5 so far.
That's something that we saw from the previous drive that kept extending it. We saw 3 consecutive third down conversions from the Rams, which led to the 3rd touchdown in this lopsided game so far.
3rd and 9. Will AbileneChristian bring pressure? Well, timeout called by Angelo State first. Halfway through the second quarter, it has been all Angelo State. The Hardin Administration Building in AbileneChristian University's campus, and it is all visitors right now. Bronkhorst on third down. Fires incomplete, intended for Austin Landry. Well, it's been all Angelo State. It's really been kind of a stunning development here. Wildcat Stadium. Division II team coming into an FCS school, dominating from start to finish. Now an interesting question here. What do you do on 4th down? Angelo State wants to go for it. I don't blame them. Everything's going right now.
And this is a team that doesn't like to kick a field goal. They've only done it once so far this season, and they didn't do it much last season either. They only did it twice, I believe. So again, this is a team that will go for it on 4th down.
4th and 9. Is this a free play? They're going to stop the play before it starts. It looked like an offsides on ACU. Was he drawn? I don't think so.
Offside, defense, number 92, with contact.
And that's the junior quintet who was offside at Missouri City, Texas. One of the 8 new starters on this defense coming into the season. They've all been together for their 4 games. And the coming in, Angelo State 6 of 10 on 4th down. AbileneChristian giving up 70% conversion rate on 4th down this year. 4th and now 4 for the Rams after the penalty. Just a 4-man rush. Bronkhorst delivers, intercepted. Brian Bullock, there's a flag down on the return, and Bullock gets out to the 40-yard line. Check the marker as it was picked off by Bullock. And it is on AbileneChristian, and this will not stand.
And we talked about this earlier in the game when we saw a couple penalties, and we're seeing it again. It is costing AbileneChristian some crucial downs.
That would have been
holding defense, number 30, 10-yard penalty.
It's the linebacker, Torrey Hargrove. It negates the first interception for the AbileneChristian defense all season long.
So you go back to the offsides penalty. It was 4th and 9, made it 4th and 4, made it much more manageable of a possible conversion, and then you do this with a holding on the very next play. Again, these are the crucial mistakes that can can cost teams a win or loss. We saw with AngeloSt against Stephen F. Austin earlier this season. A few plays really could have changed the outcome in that game.
Now they go to the ground, but not before AbileneChristian calls a timeout.
AbileneChristian will take
So you figure
second
back-to-back
timeout of the half.
penalties on defense for this AbileneChristian team. It was the offsides, as you said, on third down. Or
This will
on
be a 30
fourth down to
second
make it fourth
timeout.
down. And then the penalty was a hold on Hargrove. It was picked off by Bullock. And so the question is, was that on the same place where the ball was being thrown? As we get a look at the replay, don't have a good look at it. It looks like Hargrove wasn't near the play, so that may have been away from where the pass was even intended, which makes it even worse for AbileneChristian.
Exactly, had no outcome on the play on fourth down. So again, you go back to this, these kind of penalties are so demoralizing to these teams. Not only are you at home, you're at home for the first time this season, and when you're at home for the first time this season, you're down 21-0. Let's take a look at this one more time. And I see some hands go up. I'm not sure if he just pushed him or held him. I'm not sure. I didn't see a whole lot there.
It was on the intended receiver, Alize Thomas. They tried to go over the middle. Not a lot there from Hargrove, but then the ball was overthrown and picked off by Bullock. Instead, it's 1st and 10 from the 22. And they go to the ground. Alfred Greer couldn't get the edge that time.
And that's a similar play we've seen a lot, where we see 3 receivers on the opposite end of where the running back ultimately plans to go. It typically has worked for the Rams, but a big stop there for the Wildcats.
So a loss of 2. Bring it back 2nd and 12. 3 receivers at the bottom once again. Second down and 12, 4-man rush. Open on a crossing pattern, and it's a first down, and inside the 10 goes Chris Brooks. 1st and goal for AngeloSt on a pickup of 15 yards.
And I want to take a look at this, but I thought I saw Brooks telling the defender, come on, bring on the hit with his hand, forwarding him forward. Not sure if we're going to see it, but I thought he was telling him, come on, hit me. And he is ready to play along with AngeloSt. They have come out and are ready to take an even bigger advantage here on 1st and goal.
He ran into Austin Goffney, and now 1st down at the 9, 1st and goal. And Bronkhorst keeps it at the 5, and he's down to the 2. Anything AngeloSt wants to do on the ground, it is working in this first half. AbileneChristian has 0 answers.
And there haven't been a lot of trickery, but we see a fake handoff there for the first time. It's not as common as what we see from AngeloSt. It's usually just hand it off, and you have a huge hole to run right up the offensive line. This time, take a little bit different of a path on 1st and goal.
Bronkhorst came in with 85 rushing yards on the season, 68 in the first half today. 2nd and goal at the 3. Up the middle. Omayabu close to the goal line, down at the 1. So 3rd and goal. And you figure AngeloState's going to at least run 2 plays here. If they don't get it here, they're going to go for it on 4th down.
This team does not kick field goals, especially being up 3 possessions on the road. You're going to want to make that 4 possessions. You don't want to settle for a field goal. As far as you've come to starting, you've got to remember, this drive started at the 10-yard line.
Right. It's been an incredible drive that's eaten up half of this quarter. 3rd and goal at the 1. To the air, Bronkhorst, end zone, touchdown!
Touchdown, ASU.
Justin Pegues, wide open in the back of the end zone. AngeloSt an extra point away from a 4-touchdown lead.
And that was Austin Goffney trying to cover what, I don't know what he was doing, just got completely beat right off the snap. And again, AngeloSt, I don't know another way to put it. They have come to play, and the Wildcats are still trying to warm up.
Touchdown pass to number 83, Justin Pegues.
Pegues with his first catch of the season goes for the touchdown. AngeloSt up 28.
Ford trucks lead the way, with premium features that make the Ford F-Series America's best-selling truck for 43 years and the best-selling truck in Texas. Upgrade to a new F-Series today at your Texas Ford dealer. Drive home a new F-150 with over 11,000 total savings. Ford F-Series, built for Texas, built for you.
We believe that the first step towards positive change is to stand as one.
Driven by diversity.
We strive to discover truth, mutual understanding, and the common good.
We achieve more together than we do apart.
Every voice has a power.
We are a voice of change. Bettering ourselves and our community.
Kindness is effortless.
Standing together through adversity.
Serving our communities, peers, and teammates.
Together we can learn, teach, empower, and promote change.
Tragedy cannot bring us down.
We are one.
Well, we see the score. Do we believe the score? 28-0, AngeloSt over AbileneChristian. How about a 14-play, 89-yard drive in 6 minutes? I am very stunned as to what's happening right now here in Abilene, Texas today.
And it's already hard enough for a Division II school to come in on the road against an FCS opponent. But what they have done, it makes it look the other way around, like an FCS school is playing a Division II opponent. And AbileneChristian is going to have to produce something before halftime if they want to have any chance of turning around the corner in the second half.
Robert McKnight on the return for AbileneChristian. So the drive starts at the 37-yard line, and you figure forget the run game now. I mean, you're down 28 points. With 4:15 to go until halftime. ACU might go solely to the air, but again, without their top target and Kobe Clark today. Junior out of Sweetwater. And before first down, timeout AbileneChristian. So they're not only having issues trying to figure out how to figure out this defense, but now having to call a timeout before they even start their drive. Look at the first downs. Are you kidding me? 14-1?
And while, let's mention this also, the first down that AbileneChristian had was on a third down conversion. So they're not getting huge yards on big plays. They haven't done anything on offense. I mean, let's look at the comparison with how many plays there's even been. You look at AbileneChristian, they've had 5 passing plays, 11 rushing plays. And then you go over to AngeloSt, 9 passing, 31 rushing plays in the first half. Also, 31 of those rushing plays, 227 yards on the ground, 7.3 yards a carry.
I mean, total plays is 40-16 in the first half. This is absolutely crazy right now. And so you figure this has to be putting the ball in Peyton Mansell's hands and trying to let him come up with something. They just need some momentum right now, because right now there's nothing.
They really just need one big explosive play. Have they gotten past the 50-yard line? I don't believe they have. If they did, it was very close. And when you go back to that, again, they just need one explosive play to get something going, igniting on the offensive side.
Mansell rolling left and the pass high, looking for Dax Neese, number 19 on that crossing route. And Mansell is 3 for 6 through the air for just 12 yards. He's missed a couple of throws high,
And see, that's the problem, that a quarterback is put in a position when you're down as much as you are right now, and you haven't thrown the ball that much. So already you may not be really warmed up and ready to go and go throw a 20, 25-yard pass because you haven't done it all game.
That quick jet sweep handoff, and it's a loss of 2. L.J. McConnell knocked down and knocked backwards. Eric Rasco, one of them in there. Letty French as well.
Angelo State has done its homework on defense. They know where they're going. They've seen the jet sweeps, they've seen the short, quick passes right off the snap, and they know how to attack this offensive line on defense.
3rd down and 12. Mansell fakes and throws over the middle, incomplete. And looking once again for L.J. McConnell, and in the blink of an eye, it was a lightning quick 3 and out for Abilene Christian. And the body language, not so positive for ECU right now either.
And it looks defeated. You still have 33 minutes to play. And I'm not sure where this pass was going. It was well short of the 1st down marker. It was looking to get a gain of maybe 4 and 5 if you catch it. So again, I'm not sure what the plan is on offense right now other than more consecutive 3 and outs.
2 receivers in the area looked like as well. Fair catch here by Chris Brooks at the 20-yard line. 3.5 until halftime, and I'm interested to see if Angelo State can go down the field again because they have been on some long drives. I mean, you're talking about a 10-minute, or 4 straight touchdown drives for Angelo State after an initial punt. And Abilene Christian has no answers defensively.
They really don't. And again, if you are Angelo State, I'd say you want to go try and get a touchdown score. You have 2 timeouts left. There's plenty of time left remaining in the first half. And a fresh reminder, 2 years ago, you were up at halftime. Yeah. It wasn't 28 points. Right. It was a touchdown. But again, let's extend on this lead if you have a chance to. By all means, try and run and pass the ball as successfully as you have so far today.
1st and 10 from the 20, and taking off Colt Garrett, the senior quarterback, out there for Bronkhorst. And here's Angelo State outgaining ECU 263 to 28. Not close. And in particular, they've gone on drives of 5 plays, 9 plays, 9 plays, and 14 plays. And now they've got their backup quarterback, Colt Garrett, on the field.
Yeah, taking a look at those drives, the first one was just 5 explosive running plays. After that, now they like to take their time on these drives, really killing some clock.
2nd down, screen pass over the middle, dropped. Rasheen Green, the redshirt freshman, had some room to operate, but dropped it before taking off. 3rd and 10 on the way.
Yeah, it's a possible 1st down for the Rams, a much needed one if they want to try and extend this drive, because again, now you have the advantage back to Abilene Christian. You force a stop here on 3rd down, you have a chance to, you have plenty of time left to try and get your first score in this game.
Yeah, it's an important 3rd down for Angelo State, but it's a crucial 3rd down for this Abilene Christian defense, who has to force a punt here to have a shot at any points before the half. 3rd and 10. And Cole Garrett faking the handoff and is demolished in the backfield. Jordan Pop, first one there with Gibbons.
And I'm curious where Bronkhorst, I don't know if he's just going to be done for the first half or what, but clearly a big change there on offense. Very uncharacteristic of what we've seen so far today.
And I'm trying to look to the sideline to see if I saw there, and Zach Bronkhorst is over there talking to Garrett. Doesn't look to be an injury. It looks like they were just making a change. But it is a 3 and out for Angelo State. And this is not a good punt. Abilene Christian's going to have their best starting field position of the game. It's only a 32-yard punt as it goes out of bounds at the Angelo State 48-yard line. Well, this is a golden opportunity that has to be taken advantage of here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I'd have to say this is the first time Abilene Christian has been past the 50, and it's starting past the 50.
Right. 48-yard line, ACU on the year averaging about 370 yards per game on offense. Today, 28 total yards. They will hand it off and the penalty marker down. Jeremiah Dobbins, good gain. We'll see if it stands as he picks up 15 yards.
Number 21, Jeremiah Dobbins on the carry.
Flag was thrown early along the sideline. And we'll check in on Scott Harden again. Under 2 minutes until halftime.
Offside. Defense, number 39. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
So that play will stand. It's an offside against AngeloSt. Eric Rasco. Best play for AbileneChristian today.
They nearly doubled their total yards on that single play. 12-yard rush. They have 40 total yards in today's game in the first half.
At the 36-yard line. Trailing 28-0. Mansell will run. Rasco twists him down after a gain of 5.
And
it's time to run hurry-up offense for the Wildcats. You want a touchdown before halftime.
And maybe use some clock as well.
Exactly.
So they're content to slow it down a bit. Pistol formation. Hohenstein in motion. They fake it. Mansell, longest time to throw today. Down the field, and it's the tight end Hohenstein inside the 10. And there's a penalty down to the backfield as Mansell was slow to get up. See if it's a late hit on AngeloSt. They found Hohenstein for a big gain.
Is a completed catch. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 94. Defense. Low hit to the quarterback. Half the distance to the
Weston
goal.
Bauer
Automatic
for
first
the
down.
roughing the passer.
Take a look at this play. A big explosive play, one they have been searching for all first half. And now first and goal. And honestly, when I saw Mansell go down, I saw him hold his knee, and it looked like it wasn't going to be good. But quick shake up, and he's back up. First and goal here.
And they'll toss it left. Dobbins coming left. Broke one tackle, dives for the touchdown. AbileneChristian on the board here in the first half, and it's the freshman Dobbins who takes it home for his 4th touchdown of his rookie campaign.
And we were talking about this in the first quarter. We didn't see him on the field, and as he comes in here in the second quarter, making an impact they haven't seen so far today.
After the 26-yard completion to Hohenstein, and then the roughing the passer to add half the distance to the goal. The TD for Dobbins, and Blair Zepeda's extra point is good. Life for the Wildcats with 1:04 to go until halftime, down 28-7. They needed everything out of that, and they got their first touchdown of the game.
21-28 is so much of a different score, a deficit, when you go into halftime. So again, now there's some signs of life on this side of the field for the Wildcats that we haven't seen today.
And that was important because AbileneChristian's going to get the ball to start the third quarter as well. So we go back to the touchdown.
Again, Dobbins has been a workhorse as a freshman, just doing everything he can. The first touchdown of the season, the first touchdown here today.
Offensive coordinator Josh Lamberson talking to him about freshman Jeremiah Dobbins. He said when he figures it out, just mentally, where to go, how to run the offense, what to do, he is as dynamic as anyone that he's ever seen. And they keep saying the sky is the limit for this kid. And he's shown really good spurts. When he was out there on that drive, he really gave him a spark offensively.
And something else to think of, too, is because of COVID-19 and the red shirt blanket, this is year 1 of 5 for Dobbins. So he has plenty of time to continue to improve, not just physically, but mentally as well.
Yeah, the next year he'll be a COVID freshman, right? Are we going to use? I think we should incorporate that term. Not necessarily a redshirt freshman. 28-7. And still 64 ticks until halftime, and a fair catch right at the 25-yard line. Jalen Brown for AngeloSt. So the Rams, 2 timeouts, 1:04, up 28-7. couple of options here. They could try to go down the field and air it out and try to get this thing into the end zone again. But the other side of that is you don't want to make a mistake and give ACU anything else going before halftime.
And I have to say that everything changed on the last possession where Zach Bronkhorst came out, and we didn't know what happened with him, and a 3-and-out for AngeloSt when they were really doing a great job on offense.
And Bronkhorst still on the sideline. It's Colt Garrett once again. And now a flag, and AngeloSt didn't get the play off in time.
Delay game. Offense, number 12. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That'll move the Rams back 5 yards. 1st and 15. AbileneChristian out of timeouts, so they can't stop the clock defensively. First down handoff. And again, it's Zoran Rideau who ripped one off for a big gain his first time and picks up 3 here. The Rams are in absolutely no hurry. They may be content to just get this to the locker room up 28-7.
And I'm sure they're okay being up 28-7 at halftime on the road.
Yeah,
it's not 28-0, but it's 28-7. It's definitely something that they are more than content with, but we're going to have a question going into the second half. Where is Zach Bronkhorst, and what can we expect from Colt Garrett if we have to see him out on the field again in the second half?
Yeah, first action of the season for Garrett. Now a handoff here to Rideau again, the freshman from Houston. Back across the original line of scrimmage, and that should be the final play of the first half. AngeloSt, less than 100 miles away from Abilene, Texas. They come up on the road at an FCS school and scored 28 points in the first half and have dominated this game from start to finish. 28-7, AngeloSt.
Positive change is to stand as one.
Driven by adversity.
We strive to discover truth, mutual understanding, and the common good.
We achieve more together than we do apart.
Every voice has a power.
We are a voice of change. Bettering ourselves and our community.
Kindness is effortless.
Standing together through adversity.
Serving our communities, peers, and teammates.
Together we can learn, teach, empower, and promote change.
Tragedy cannot bring us down.
We are one. For years, I trained to be the best linebacker on the field. That drive made me a top performer at the NFL Combine, and I played 5 seasons in the NFL. Now I'm working toward another dream, building my own business, training athletes to help improve their performance. I want to be the best businessman I can, so I'm getting my MBA at ACU.
Get your degree online at acu.edu.
My favorite thing about ACU TV is that we're telling a story, and we're telling ACU's story through the perspective of students and for students, and I think that's just a really unique experience.
To work at ACU TV is probably the best experience you will get in a college setting.
Being able to do it for football games like out here is like for game days experience, it was awesome. Being able to see your shots and then being able to look back at it and saying like, wow, that was my shot, it was awesome.
So in my experience during basketball season was amazing. The work on the floor, getting to teach people, and then also getting to be right there with the basketball players. I couldn't compare it to anything I had done before.
ACU has given me so many opportunities that I would have never had at another school. As soon as I started my freshman year, I just dove straight into it. They let me technical direct for ESPN games. I started making features that were shown on ESPN.
This is something that almost no university in America can really offer to their students. To be able to go on air on ESPN and ESPN production for a college student is something that a lot of people don't even think is possible. But here at ACU TV, we're given that opportunity. We're given an opportunity to grow and just be able to experience an atmosphere unlike any of us have seen before.
For us to show that this campus is more than just football or more than just basketball is so important.
We're here for the campus. We're here to better the community and show that ACU has a lot of great things going on.
And something that I think is super exciting and really beneficial for the ACU community is we do everything. We have a little bit of something for everybody, and I think that that kind of just elevates and saying we're focused on everybody in community as a whole, and I think that that's really important, and ACU TV does a really good job of showing that.
this first half. AngeloSt coming to Abilene and leading 28-7 at halftime. All Rams on the road, outgating ACU 265-72. More halftime here on ESPN, as this has been all visitors today from opening kickoff in this game. A stunning development, and we've got halftime here as AngeloSt leads 28-7. Back in a moment.
Junior quarterback Peyton Manziel, and discuss his first season as a Wildcat.
Peyton's running right. He's running, and he's going to hop into the end zone for two. And he is fired up.
Play Felton High School in Texas, have a pretty successful resume there. What made that decision for you to go play in Iowa?
You know, it was just a culmination of things. You know, got offered by North Dakota State. That was my first offer, so, you know, that was something that I was really considering. And then, you know, Coach Davis, the coach who recruited me at Iowa, he actually knew my head coach, so it was kind of just a funny story there. He was watching my film, and then he looked at where I was playing at, and then he looked at the name of the head coach, and he was like, oh, I know that guy. They were actually at Texas at the same time coaching. So he gave him a call. He came down to visit me in the spring. He watched me play, and then they offered me, and I went up and took a visit. You know, I really loved Coach Ferentz. I loved the community up there, loved the staff, so committed pretty quickly in the process.
And speaking of other offers, while we're on the topic, you had some other offers in the Ivy League. Harvard. School's not necessarily known for their football, but rather their academics. So what was it like for you to have those offers from them?
You know, it was awesome, you know, especially just getting to form connections with the coaches up there and, you know, have the opportunity to maybe make that decision to go to an Ivy League school. You know, my dad being military, both of my parents being military at one point. My dad's still active duty, you know, he was always on my butt about academics. So, you know, that was something that, you know, he really harped on me that, you know, you can be great on the football field, but if you're not great in the classroom, you know, you're not going to be able to do anything. So, you know, really having the opportunity to have in the back of my mind, you know, I could go to an Ivy League school, you know, that was something that was awesome to have in that process.
Let's talk about ACU. So you decided to transfer here to ACU. What was behind that decision?
You know, just time to come home. You know, everybody thinks that, you know, their first choice is going to work out and they're going to go and be the guy at the school that they choose first. And, you know, it just didn't really happen for me at Iowa. So, you know, pulled the trigger, decided to transfer, and then pretty quickly decided I was going to be going to an FCS school just so I didn't have to worry about trying to get a waiver. You know, I talked to my wife and we agreed, you know, if I'm going to an FCS school, I think there's like 12 or something like that in Texas. So we decided pretty quickly that, you know, being in Texas was ultimately the idea, especially because we were married at that point. My best friend in high school was my tight end, and Remington Lutz, and he actually plays here. You know, he came here straight out of high school, and I called him up. I was like, hey, you guys need a QB? And he was like, actually, yeah, the last QB grad transferred, so we need a guy. So, you know, that process happened pretty quickly. Came on a visit here, met Coach Lambeau, met Coach Dorrell, you know, really fell in love with the place, fell in love with the staff, and, you know, I committed the night I came on a visit, so.
You mentioned your wife a moment ago. Now, she actually now also has the athletic gene as well, playing for Baylor as a pitcher. What has her influence been like on you throughout your time in college?
You know, she's my rock. I mean, there's so many words to describe her. I mean, but she's ultimately just been that person that, you know, I can talk to about stuff like this because, you know, she's been through everything that I've been through basically. You know, she actually played at ACU her freshman year. She transferred, she redshirted, and now she's playing at Baylor. So, you know, we both kind of been through the same process. But, you know, I mean, she's ultimately somebody that I can talk to about just about anything just because, you know, she's my best friend and she's an athlete and she's just as big of a competitor as I am. So she knows what it's like to be through grueling practices and competing on the highest level. So
let's talk about your first time in purple and white. You go play against UTEP in El Paso. What was that experience like just to get out on the field again?
You know, it was awesome. You know, I thought, you know, I was pretty nervous going into the game just because it was the first time that I actually started a game in a couple of years. But, you know, everybody around me was so supportive. All the coaches were really supportive. I knew the guys on the field had my back. And, you know, it's hard to put into words how great of a feeling that was going on in the field with 11 guys or 10 guys who just, you know, have your back. So.
And shortly after that, you go play Army up in West Point. Now, that game meant more to you than it did to some others because, as you mentioned, your parents both played there up in West Point. What was it like, not only for you, but for your family as well, to go out there and play against Army?
I mean, just being able to be back in that atmosphere in Mikey Stadium, you know, it was surreal. You know, you're driving in, and it's such a gorgeous place. And I mean, I'm texting pictures to my parents of like us on the drive, and they're like, oh, we remember that town. Oh, we remember that gate. And then I sent a picture of the stadiums, and they're like, I mean, we can't tell you how many times we ran under those bleachers. But I mean, you know, just being able to go back up to West Point. I've been there once before to see a football game, and you know, to get the opportunity to play in front of the Corps Cadets. It's such a rowdy group. So I mean, it was an amazing experience. You know, I wish my parents could have been there, but ultimately, you know, it was an experience that I'm never gonna forget. So.
Obviously, this is a crazy year with COVID-19 in college football. When things get back to normal, when you get back out on that field again, what do you hope to accomplish this season and future seasons?
You know, just continue to improve as a team and individually. I mean, you know, just continue to embody our standards. Selfless, tough, and disciplined. It's something we've really harped on, especially on a year like this where there's so many exterior factors, you know, working against us, working to divide us. But, you know, I think that our team and the group as a whole have done a really good job about just staying really interlocked and really interconnected and through this whole experience. So.
I'm in Abilene, and I think the biggest question is, what in the world is going on? It's AngeloSt 28 and AbileneChristian 7. You can't say enough about what the Rams have done. A Division II school playing at an FCS school. They have come in and dominated this game, particularly on the ground on offense.
Yeah, they've done a great job on all areas. After the first punt, the first three, now we were expecting, okay, this may be a defensive battle. What we see after that is 4 consecutive touchdown drives for AngeloSt. A great job running the ball, 35 carries, 229 rushing yards. An unbelievable performance from these Rams in the first half.
Yeah, they've only had to throw it 10 times. They've run it 35 times for 6.5 yards a carry. It's been nothing short of impressive. 14 points in each quarter for the Rams. Alfred Greer has 3 rushing touchdowns in the game. I mean, it's been spectacular to watch this Rams team develop here today. And they lead at 28-7. AbileneChristian's going to get the ball to start the second half. Start of the third quarter. AngeloSt got a stunning development all over AbileneChristian 28-7. But the Wildcats at home get the ball to start this third quarter. And we're glad to have you with us today for Southwood Conference football on ESPN. Zach Carlisle and Owen Simpson. Hutton Harris and our crew back in the studio and down here on the field doing a great job today as always. And, you know, ACU gets it to start the third. This feels super important for the Wildcats to have something going here. They're down 28-7. They scored right before halftime.
Yeah, I can't envision it being any other way, as you have to score a touchdown in this drive. If you don't, the momentum is gone. Anything you build at the end of the second quarter, it swings right back to AngeloSt.
Jordan Brooks-West back deep to receive the kick, and instead it's taken at the 7-yard line, and Davion Johnson gets out near the 30. And the drive will start at the 28, and they play her down for AngeloSt on that kickoff. Well, this feels like a good time to talk about for AbileneChristian. It's been a little more than a month ago now that one of their quarterbacks and their junior, Samaje Davis, was injured in a car accident about a month ago. It was a very severe accident. He was then life-flighted to Fort Worth and in the Dallas area at a hospital there, still there. And his family and AbileneChristian has gone through so much with this football team over the past month or so, and just sending prayers and trying to help out the family, the Samaje Davis family, one of the players they love the most on this team.
Yeah, when he was struck by it was a drunk driver going over 100 miles an hour one night. And the team has showed incredible support for the guy, and truly an amazing story here. First, it's just been a all around an amazing experience to show support for this guy.
Back in a moment. Wildcat Stadium and a capacity of about 12,000. They're going 50% right now for the 2 home games at Abilene Christian this year, so about 6,000 in attendance. ACU and AngeloSt, first play of the 3rd quarter after the injury timeout, and it is Jeremiah Dobbins, the freshman, for 2 yards on the left side. And we talked about it. This is an important drive for Abilene Christian to start this 3rd quarter down 28-7. They score a touchdown going into halftime, and now a chance to cut this to a 14-point game. This feels like a must-score drive for Abilene Christian.
And I think we're going to see a lot more of movement in the backfield like we just saw on that first down. They're going to try and do a little bit of trickery when they run the ball, but they're going to try and pass the ball a lot more in the second half.
Mansell faking the toss, and then he takes off and dives forward, fearless running from Mansell, and he's a yard and a half shy of a first down.
And that's not something you see from every college quarterback, just throwing their body at the defender. It shows a lot of courage, to say the least, for a lot of these guys, but a big job, a good job by Mansell there on second down.
So the question is, when you need a big play and your go-to target, Kobe Clark's not out there, what do? 3rd and a yard and a half. They're going to sneak it with Mansell. Did he get there? Depends on the spot. Initial look looks like it's a first down, and I think that's what they're going to signal. Needed the 39. Is it a first? Don't have a signal yet. Yes, it is. Move the chains. 1st and 10.
That's the second play we've seen on a 3rd and short where they just do the QB sneak. And it's nowhere near the red zone, but they've done it twice and successful on both occasions.
Opening drive of the 3rd quarter. Abilene Christian still has yet to surpass 100 yards of total offense. And they go back to the ground. It's the freshman Dobbins again. Lowers his shoulder for 3 yards on first down.
And notice they're giving Dobbins the ball a lot more as we start this second half compared to where we started the game. Back in the 1st quarter, he didn't see a single snap on the field. So far right now, he's up to 5 carries in this one.
Dobbins comes out, and Tyrese White, the every game starter, the junior, back in. Darius Lewis in motion. Mansell to throw on second down. Back to the other side, and a diving attempt. Is it picked off? It is incomplete. They say a bobble along the sideline. One official marked incomplete, and another, now they get together. Incomplete is what they rule it. Letty French, the second, nearly came up with his 3rd pick of the year.
Yeah, and it looks like he juggled the ball a little bit heading out of bounds. I don't know if it ever touched the ground, but the control, that's the question. I think that one's going to stand as incomplete.
Yeah, you have to have control of the ball and a foot down in bounds. Yeah, French with an interception against Stephen F. Austin, and last time out against West Texas A&M. 3rd down, ACU goes quick. Darius Lewis open down the middle to the 35-yard line. Abilene Christian goes quick and gets 22 yards on 3rd and 6.
And they're going to try and keep this tempo moving. A big play on 3rd down, a quick pass. He knew exactly where that ball was headed right after the snap. And a good job by Lewis to break a tackle.
Out racing the corner, Deshaun Douglas to the 35-yard line. Season-long catch for Darius Lewis. Tyrese White up the middle, dragging Micah Flowers with him inside the 30. 6 yards. 2nd down and 4 coming, and so now a huge turn of events. What goes from an AngeloSt takeaway now comes down. ACU's in business inside the 30.
It's these crucial plays that can swing the momentum for both these teams in the second half. We're finally starting to see more development and improvement on this offensive line for Abilene Christian.
We talk about the importance of this drive. And now 2nd down. Mansell to the outside, diving attempt and a catch. Lewis having a career game in his freshman year. The rookie out of Austin with another catch. This was impressive.
And that's the question coming into today's game. Who's going to step up when they need him the most? Kobe Clark's out. They need someone to fill that hole. Lewis doing a great job in the start of the third quarter.
Lewis came in with 3 grabs on the year. He's got 3 today. They tossed to L.J. McConnell, the speedster on the left side. He's tackled along the edge. Looked like Kaysen McCullough Cooper with a tackle. Backup corner, 2nd and 8 coming up. AbileneChristian close to the red zone for the 2nd time today. Jordan Brooks-West in motion. Mansell to throw to the middle, and that was nearly intercepted. Looking for Lewis again. And that was Deshaun Douglas who went low and nearly came up with a pick.
I'm not sure if that was just simply the wrong route that one of the receivers ran or if it was just simply well off target, and that just looks a little bit too high. And again, another costly, what could have been a costly play for the Wildcats. But once again, the Wildcats scathed off an interception.
AbileneChristian 3 of 8 on 3rd down today. Mansell gonna run, cuts, and looks to be just short. A yard shy, and a great tackle made at the end to stop him.
And we've seen Peyton Mansell go off on his feet a couple times today. It's going to be close on that spotting, but I can't imagine you don't go for it. A field goal does you nothing in this situation.
They're going to go for it. Donovan Jackson and Darren Allman with a stop. 4th and a yard for AbileneChristian. And they'll sneak it, and 2nd effort, and Mansell, boy, dangerous with a football there, and it comes down to the spot. Looks like it's right at the 15, which is the yard to gain. Boy, it looked like when he reached the ball across, it looked like he easily had the 1st down.
And that's something
take a look.
And that's something as a quarterback very risky, but just the extra effort there might be huge for the Wildcats to extend this drive.
Yeah.
It's going to be close.
And there was a look right down the line of scrimmage there.
5-yard penalty results
That gave him
in a first down.
that 2nd effort for 1st down. There's a flag anyway on AngeloSt. That is a defensive foul that moves the ball to the 11-yard line. So 1st and 10, ACU. This first drive of the 3rd quarter. The Wildcats quickly shovel it. L.J. McConnell trying to get back and fight through, and AngeloSt strung that out brilliantly with Micah Flowers into Sean Douglas.
And that's something the Wildcats love to do, is the jet sweeps to the right or left. That's something AngeloSt has focused on, it seems, throughout this past week, preparing for AbileneChristian. Good stop there defensively.
AbileneChristian can get a 1st down at the 1. Play action. Mansell, end zone shot, and it is caught for the touchdown. Darius Lewis on a bullet from Peyton Mansell.
And I'm not sure how exactly he was able to get it in there. There had to be 3 defenders in play, but a beautiful pass from Peyton Mansell. And this is now a much closer game, and it's much more competitive as we start this 2nd half.
Threading the needle touchdown from Mansell to Darius Lewis, the 1st career touchdown for Lewis, who's having himself a game. Blair Zepeda for the extra point. AbileneChristian scores on its opening drive of the 3rd. What a throw from Mansell, 28-14. Our whole crew, ACU TV studio, student run production, doing a great job here. As always, some behind the scene looks. AngeloSt all over AbileneChristian, 28-14, but the Wildcats are back in this thing, down by 2 scores as you get a peek behind the curtain of this wonderful crew running the show here today. Zach Carlisle alongside Owen Simpson. And the Wildcats score at the end of the first half and score to open the second half. And they're back in this thing down 28-14. Short kick, and it's loose. And it's recovered by AbileneChristian, and a huge break for the Wildcats. Jumping on the football, Robert McKnight on the short kick from Blair Zepeda. And it's game on here in Abilene.
And Angelo State just wasn't able to get to the ball in time. It was a short, high kick. And I believe it just bounced right off of the knee. As we take a look back one more time, he was running full speed ahead trying to get to it, and it just goes right through his hands. And the Wildcats, the full swing of momentum. And we're only a few minutes into the second half. It was 28-7 at the halfway point. It could be much closer after this drive.
Zoran Rideau could not come up with it. Robert McKnight jumps on it. So this drive starts from the Angelo State 29-yard line. And a handoff goes to Tyrese White, who is smothered at the line of scrimmage. First one there, the linebacker Darren Allman. Back to the muffed kick. Short one from Zepeda.
And it was just not a lot of communication from Angelo State. It seemed like it should have gone to someone else, not all the way back at the returner position. That was near the 20-yard line. That's something that someone else needs to pick up.
And we saw the short kick in the first half that was called for a fair catch by Angelo State. And that time a muff. And a big first turnover of the game. Play action Mansell wants to throw back the screen to McConnell. He's got blocking. And the speedster down inside the red zone. And AbileneChristian in business, 13 yards for a first down.
And just like I talked about at the beginning of the second half, we were going to see a lot of more movement in the backfield, a little bit more trickery from AbileneChristian to help them get back in this game. A good pass back to LJ McConnell when it looked like it was headed to the right side of the field. Good blocking and another first down for AbileneChristian.
Kason McCullough Cooper with a tackle at the 17-yard line of the Rams. Mansell throws. McConnell, did he toe tap? Yes, he did. He caught it at the 8-yard line. High throw, but LJ McConnell with a spectacular grab.
And McConnell was quiet in the first half, but that has clearly changed here in the third quarter, going back to back with McConnell. And what a catch. 1 foot in, full control. And now we're at a 2nd and short for the Wildcats.
2nd and 1 to the 9-yard completion. Dobbins, the running back. They give it to him. Jeremiah Dobbins cuts left. AbileneChristian's back in it. Second touchdown of the game for Dobbins in his 5th of the year. AbileneChristian an extra point away from it being a 7-point game.
And this is exactly what AbileneChristian needed to do back earlier in the game. Give the ball to Dobbins when they need a big play. And they do so right here. Dobbins, another score for the Wildcats. And man, this is a tale of two halves so far. Wildcats take full control here in the third quarter.
Couple of things to note, how important that touchdown was at the end of the first half and how important 2 near interceptions were on the first drive of the second half. And AbileneChristian just like that. A 4-play, 29-yard drive to take advantage of the muffed kick. And it's a 28-21 game with plenty of time to go as we're only halfway through the third quarter.
And here's where everything changed. Angelo State's up 28-0. Wildcats go on a 3-and-out. And let's go back again here to this kick. We see from the kickoff, this is a big mistake, and this is some of the mistakes that the coach for Angelo State was talking about when we discussed it to him earlier in the week. Was they made a few plays, a few mistakes that cost them games over the past few weeks. So we see that again happening here in the second half. A few plays going in favor for the Wildcats to get them right back in this game, but started off of a turnover.
Yeah, and then they go to LJ McConnell, and then the McConnell catch again. So they go right back to him, and then they give it and turn it and hand it off to their freshman running back, Jeremiah Dobbins. And he finds Pater taking advantage of the only turnover of the game to make it 28-21. So that's the sequence of events that gets us to where we stand. And now Angelo State facing some adversity really for the first time today.
Yeah, I think this all changed again going back near the end of the first half where Zach Bronkhorst came out. We don't know why he came out, but that's when they had a 3-and-out, one of the first few in a while after scoring 4 consecutive touchdowns on possessions. They go on a 3-and-out, the Wildcats score a touchdown, it's a new game. And since then, it has been all AbileneChristian here in the second half.
21 unanswered points for the Wildcats, and Blair Zepeda will kick it. Whoa, they are really testing the special teams of Angelo State, and this goes nowhere, and they won't make the 15-yard line. Rideau is having some issues. He's not having fun returning kicks right now. The last 2 have not gone well for Angelo State. They'll start at the 14-yard line. And now I'm curious to see who comes out and plays quarterback for these Rams.
Yeah, it's going to be a big question. Again, that's where we saw the change back in the first half. Zach Bronkhorst going out, Colton Garrett coming in, and then the offense just couldn't get anything rolling for them on that last possession.
This looks like Bronkhorst out onto the field to start the first possession of the period for Angelo State. And it's halfway through the half, or halfway through the third quarter, I should say. Third worst starting field position today for the Rams. And Zach Bronkhorst starts on the ground. Boy, that's worked well today for Angelo State in the clear. Running free. Alfred Greer is gone. 86 yards, and now 2 late flags come in at the 10-yard line. And I wonder if this is an illegal block in the back.
And that has to be one of the latest calls I think I've ever seen from an official. I was surprised they didn't call it in the first place with a block in the back. It should have been a block in the back, and then they throw it after the touchdown call.
We'll see.
Illegal block in the back. Number
That's
11,
exactly
offense.
what they're calling.
10-yard penalty from
and
the spot of the foul.
An absurdly
Results
late
in a first down.
flag. 2 of them came, but they were 5 seconds after the touchdown was scored. Let's take a look.
So first of all, it was completely unnecessary anyway to even have the push in the back. Worst case scenario, he's taken down around the 4-yard line. So here you have it right there, a little bit of a push, and he might have caught him, but again, it's just some of these silly mistakes that can cost teams so much, but a big run to start off the offense for Angelo State in the second half.
The flag's on Kellen Peugeot. Watch 11 come into your screen right there and push in the back. And so they bump it all the way out to the 33-yard line. That takes away an 86-yard touchdown run and a very unnecessary bump in the back because it was a touchdown. Greer was gone. And instead, it's still a huge gain all the way to the AbileneChristian 33-yard line. And now they go on the ground to Omayabu, and here we go again. That left side has been brilliant for Angelo State, down to the 19 for a 14-yard pickup.
It's a different half, but the same problem for this AbileneChristian defense. They cannot stop the run to save their lives. It has just been dreadful to see this run defense and how they've performed so far in this game. They're going to need a stop if they hope to come back from this one. The offense has finally started moving. Now the defense needs to respond.
And on first down, right back to it, this time on the right side, in a rumble for 5 for Omayabu, who coming in through today was averaging 4 yards per carry. And, I mean, today it's been spectacular, 5 yards per carry. 6.5 to go here in the third. And now Bronkhorst is going to keep. He gets maybe 1. So now third down, and AbileneChristian's hoping that Angelo State has to throw the football because they have not had to today. Bronkhorst is only 4 for 9 through the air for 36 yards.
Angelo State's done a great job on third down. They're 5 for 8 in this one. It's something that they have really helped keep this lead as we go well past the midway point now in the third quarter.
Third down at 4. Up the middle. And a good push for Alfred Greer. He appears to be a yard shy of the first. So 4th and a yard, and you got to figure Angelo State's not going to kick a field goal here.
Once again, they've only kicked it one time this season, only twice this season before. This team does not like kicking field goals. It's go for 4th down or it's punt.
4th and a yard. And Bronkhorst keeps it and stumbles to the 6. They roll the dice, and they put it in their quarterback's hands for the first down.
And they did a good job really tricking the defense there, making it look like it was going to be a run up the right. And instead, Bronkhorst holds on to the ball. Another carry for the big man. That's number 12 in today's game.
Angelo State currently on an 80-yard drive, all of it on the ground. 1st and goal. Bronkhorst keeps to the 2. Trying to sniff the end zone, and AbileneChristian stops him just short. Coy Richardson with a tackle.
You have to think this is a big drive for Angelo State, especially after AbileneChristian. 14 unanswered points as quickly as it was. Good opportunity to shift the momentum back in their favor.
The handoff here and penetration of the line of scrimmage. Torrey Hargrove, first man home to take down Omayabu, who's knocked down for a loss of 2.
So here we are, another situation, another 3rd down. Can the Wildcats finally get a stop? And then what we'll probably expect to see is another
That's
stop.
what I was going to say.
Another 4th down.
They may have to stop them twice.
Exactly.
Under 4 to play in the 3rd quarter.
It's 2-down territory to say the least.
Angelo State 5 of 9 on 3rd down today and 1 for 1 on 4th down. 3rd and goal. The fake, and Gibbons obliterates Bronkhorst. And did he take the ball from him? Yes, he did. Oh my goodness. What an unbelievable play by Jack Gibbons. That's all America stuff.
And that might be the biggest hit Zach Bronkhorst has taken. He already had a second and just obliterated. He had 1 second to throw, not enough time. And it's a turnover and a big shift back in favor for the Wildcats.
So the interesting part is this a fumble? Well, yeah, it looks like it is. Yes, it is. Gibbons absolutely lays out Bronkhorst.
And the leader of this defense steps up when they needed him the most.
An absolute hit stick right there from Gibbons. His 2nd recovered fumble in as many weeks. AbileneChristian gets a defensive stop and starts with Tyrese White on the ground for 4 yards. I mean, that is a game changer from Gibbons as well. Angelo State's going in for a touchdown.
2 plays to find that last possession. The very first one with Greer, and he should have been ultimately at the 4-yard line at worst case scenario if it wasn't for the block in the back. And then just what a hit from Jack Gibbons to result in the turnover.
That block in the back proved to be huge against Kellen Peugeot. 2nd down, play action. Mansell sprinting and can't make it back to the line of scrimmage. Micah Flowers in there to knock him down. So now a 3rd down here. And you figure if you don't get it, you're punting just outside of your end zone. So Angelo State playing the field position game defensively.
And something that the Rams have done a great job at so far is containing the ball when it leaves outside the pocket. We've seen that multiple times on passes and runs. As long as they continue to do that, the defense will be successful as we near the 4th quarter.
3rd and 6. 4-man rush. Throw to the outside. L.J. McConnell catches it for the 1st down across the 20. There is a flag down. And Angelo State's clapping. Is this against AbileneChristian?
Personal foul. Chop block, 72 and 53 offense.
That is a chop
Half the
block
distance to the
by
goal.
the center
Third down.
and right guard, Nico Rusalilo and Cage Hendricks for Abilene
Injury
Christian.
timeout.
And it's a personal foul, chop block as well.
So we see a costly penalty on the last possession with AngeloSt in the block in the back, and then here another costly penalty for the Wildcats.
Third down when we come back. AngeloSt in front, 28-21. Peyton Mansell on third down, running for his life. Now launches, and it is incomplete. Down the field, trying to find Jordan Brooks West. Devin Washington in coverage. And that chop block penalty takes away a first down, and now Abilene Christian backed up, going to punt the football.
And Peyton Mansell was lucky enough to avoid a sack back in the end zone, just nearly escaped that one. But as you mentioned again, yes, the penalties for both these teams on the last two possessions have been costly.
So now Logan Burke's going to punt from his end zone. And Chris Brooks is back deep, right around midfield. AngeloSt trying to turn the field position. Rugby style kick, not a good one. Not a good one at all. That's a 19-yard punt. And AngeloSt, despite a fourth down turnover, will have the ball in wonderful field position here, leading by a touchdown.
And this has been an ugly second half for both these teams. I'd have to argue. What we saw from AngeloSt in the first half was phenomenal, running the ball, and then for the Wildcats, it was a disaster upon disaster. But what we're seeing from AngeloSt also is more struggles. But with the Wildcats, they give them a gift here. Again, a terrible, terrible punt in the back of the end zone. For the Rams now, a big advantage and opportunity to make this once again a two-possession game.
The special teams has been
pretty
rough here.
It's been rough
for both sides in this third quarter. AngeloSt starts from the ACU 27. And they go to their workhorse, Alfred Greer. What a day he has had. That's his 12th carry. He's over 150 rushing yards, averaging almost 15 yards a carry, and gets 5 here.
He's just done a great job finding the holes that have been developed by the offensive line. Just a fantastic job in today's game thus far.
Greer came in with 226 total rushing yards on the season. He's at 157 in the game, and he takes it for a couple more to the 21. And another all-important third down for both sides. Final minute of the third. Abilene Christian outscoring AngeloSt 14-0 in this quarter. Well, the Rams still in control, up 7. Third and 4. Bronkhorst to the air. Incomplete for his tight end, Dagan Dunham, and Jaron Parker in coverage for Abilene Christian, and another decision coming for AngeloSt and head coach Jeff Gersh. I don't think it's a decision, quite honestly. They're going to go for it.
It really does blow me away how much they love to go for it on fourth down. This is a situation like, you know what? If you trust your offense, put them out there. This is something that they have to ultimately win in these battles, is the fourth down conversions that can ultimately decide the game for both these teams.
This is coming into the day, and they're 1 for 1 today, are the Rams. So 4th and 4. Bronkhorst picked off. It's Gibbons. Coming the other way, Jack Gibbons. Back-to-back takeaways for the senior. And he has Abilene Christian's first interception of the season.
And he is keeping the Wildcats in this one, coming from behind, making it a much closer game. 2 consecutive turnovers, as you just mentioned, for Gibbons. 1, an absolute beatdown of a sack and forced fumble. This time, does it by the air.
Looking for Kellen Pichot and Jack Gibbons. Unbelievable. The senior also blocked Voss did a couple of weeks ago. First down for AbileneChristian, down 7. Jeremiah Dobbins, the freshman running back, with a good surge of 7 yards on first down. And it looked like it was Cameron Kavanaugh getting up from the bottom of the pile for AngeloSt. And I don't think AbileneChristian's going to run another play in the third quarter. Game on at Wildcat Stadium. 3 quarters in the books. It's AngeloSt 28 and AbileneChristian 21. And we go to the fourth quarter after this on ESPN. Start of the fourth quarter in Abilene, Texas for Southland Conference football on ESPN. Zach Carlisle alongside Owen Simpson. Glad to have you with us today. And AbileneChristian down by a touchdown. Starts the fourth, and Mansell avoids a sack and fires it in the direction of Brandon Hohenstein to try to avoid an intentional grounding as well. That play goes nowhere, and it will set up a third down to start the quarter for ACU. But more importantly, AngeloSt giving the football away in the third quarter, and now ACU right in this thing.
Yeah, 3 turnovers in the third quarter for AngeloSt. They were perfect in protecting the ball in the first half, and again, that's why we see it as competitive of a game as it is as we enter the fourth quarter. Those 14 points for AbileneChristian really crucial in getting back in this game.
Third down and 3. And they go to Dobbins, the right side for the first down. To the ground on third down, and the youngster picks up the first to midfield.
And Dobbins has become their lead man as we enter near the end of this game. That's his 8th carry there. He's had 2 touchdowns and averaging well over 5 yards a carry, really bolstering this offense back into motion.
ACU trailed 28-0, scored a touchdown right before the end of the first half, opened the third quarter with a 13-play drive for a TD, then took advantage of a muffed kick for a touchdown, and now they have it down a touchdown here, and it's Dobbins again. No correction, Tyrese White, who comes in and picks up 1. And the tackle made by Cola Pulu, the senior out of California. Gain of 1 for Tyrese White. They love their running backs at AbileneChristian, and they're in position now where they don't have to abandon the run game just down a touchdown.
Exactly. That was in a situation that we saw near the end of the first quarter. It was like, okay, hey, they need to pass the ball. They have to get back in this game. Well, they're back in it.
Edge blitz, and it's batted down on the slant route throw. Donovan Jackson tipped it into the air. And third down coming up, and a player down for AngeloSt, Deshaun Douglas. And we'll take a timeout with him. Early in the fourth, ACU faces third down when we come back. Mansell on third down's gonna be down at the line of scrimmage. AngeloSt got there. Darren Allman gets a stop on third down for the Rams and will force an AbileneChristian punt. A big stop as ACU took over after the interception and can't move anything with it.
And that's the problem with AbileneChristian that we've seen today is the third down conversions. That makes it 4 for 12. Heading into what we have left is 13 minutes in this one. So that's been a struggle for them, and as they trail by a touchdown in this one.
So Logan Burke looking to change field position. Chris Brooks lets it go. It will go into the end zone. A great effort from AbileneChristian. Gage Graham trying to get down there and save it, but it comes out to the 20. And a big stop for AngeloSt. Well, I mean, if you look at it, Angelo's outgaining ACU 357 to 185, but those turnovers have kept the Wildcats in this game. It's just 28-21.
That's something Coach Gersh has emphasized, just fixing the few key mistakes that have cost them a couple games this season. And And that's something that's become a problem here. It was a problem in the third quarter. And now here they have an opportunity to really extend this lead. But again, they've had struggles protecting the ball in the second half.
And they go to the air on first down and a quick screen to the outside. Rasheen Green with a catch. There's only been 5 completions today. That's the first one for Green. His first catch picks up 8 yards. AngeloSt playing their final game of the fall. Coming in with a 1-2 record with a win over West Texas A&M in the opener, and then losses to Stephen F. Austin and then to West Texas A&M. And that was a disaster on a snap, and a flag is down, a couple of them. I think this is against AngeloSt. It was 2nd and 2. I think it'll be 2nd and 7. Tell us about it, Scott Harden.
Prior to the snap, illegal snap infraction, 5-yard penalty. It'll still be 2nd down.
Snap infraction. AngeloSt.
Let's see this ball move.
There it is. Yep. Can't do that. Alfredo Fernandez, the center. Just tried to roll it back there.
Just some of these key mistakes that are creating more and more problems for AngeloSt here in the second half.
2nd down to the outside. Quick throw and catch to Green for a first. Soft coverage on the outside.
They gave him just enough space to create an open hole. Quick throw, easy first down. That's another extension for this drive, and that's all that AngeloSt needs with this lead.
9-yard pickup as they try to eat some clock and go get some more points, leading by a touchdown. Delayed handoff. Not much. And I'll give you a guess as to who made the tackle. Jack Gibbons, all over the place.
And he has stepped up in a big way here in the second half when they've needed it the most. We've talked about the defense struggles when stopping the run in the first half. They couldn't do it. Second half, things have changed, and Gibbons has been a big reason for that.
Gibbons 3rd on the all-time tackles list in AbileneChristian history, behind his former teammate that was in there with him was Jeremiah Chambers over the last 4 years. And here is a handoff, and Will Morgan immediately makes the stop at the line of scrimmage. Now a couple of guys are slow to get up, including Morgan. He tackles Nate Omayabu. And it's an injury timeout on the field. Angelo. Third down for AngeloSt early in the fourth quarter as the Rams on the road at FCS AbileneChristian with a touchdown lead. Third down, screen over the middle, and it's bobbled and incomplete. And they're looking for Zoran Rideau, and he couldn't hang on to it.
And there wasn't much there, even if he would have been able to catch it. A great stop for the Wildcats and a necessary stop for the Wildcats. They're going to have something rolling on offense. They haven't been able to do anything in the past couple possessions. They'll need that now.
So go back to last week, AbileneChristian playing on the road at Mercer allowed just 82 total yards in the second half of that game. And they have been very good today in the second half against AngeloSt. And the Rams punt. And Jordan Brooks West calls for a fair catch and a stumble, but he's got it at the 28-yard line. So it's been a combination of good defense, AngeloSt with some turnovers. AbileneChristian, their offense has stalled a little bit here, but again, an opportunity to get this thing tied, trailing by 7.
It's definitely more competitive in the second half compared to the first half. Let's just go back. First half total yards, AngeloSt with 265, ACU with just 72, but now we're at 109, 113 total yards from both these teams in the second half.
And the Wildcats start from the 28-yard line. And a play action. Mansell lasers one down the field and it's dropped right at the 50-yard line. A lot of heat on that one. A fastball dropped by Darius Lewis.
And if he catches that one, that might be going for 6 because he had absolutely no one in front of him. Just one of those passes that sometimes might be too easy to catch that you just drop it, but there are no excuses for that one.
Mansell has a cannon on that right shoulder. 2nd and 10. To the air again. Lewis, screen, nothing. Darren Allman stops him in the backfield. That's a 3-yard loss.
And after that play, you see how costly of a drop that was on 1st down for the Wildcats.
So 3rd down. And that's a spot where Kobe Clark has been their bubble screen guy. And now, who do you turn to on 3rd down? Mansell avoiding the pressure and can't escape the blitzing Letty French II.
And he got caught up with Nico Russolillo from the offensive line trying to escape the pocket. But a great job by AngeloSt to ultimately just swarm him. Nowhere to go as you see him getting bumped up against the line. And a big stop again for the Rams there on 3rd down.
French coming around and then up through to sack Mansell. And this Angelo defense continues to rise to the occasion when it matters most, and Logan Burke with a good one. That ball's loose and it's jumped on by Brooks at the 35-yard line, a 43-yard punt.
And a much better punt than what we saw the last time around, which again put AngeloSt in great field position. But again, we saw a turnover from AngeloSt on that one. So again, it's just been back and forth. Small mistakes from both these teams, which has made it a 28-21 score.
Defenses have been really good in the back half of the 3rd quarter and all of this 4th quarter so far. Which offense is going to break through? The Rams start on the ground. And Omayabu picks up 3. So you figure AbileneChristian playing their first of just 2 home games this year. Next week they'll host Arizona Christian, and then they'll close out their 8-game fall schedule, which has now turned into a 7-game fall schedule because they had a game with West Texas A&M canceled earlier this year. They'll close it out in 2 weeks at the Virginia Cavaliers of the ACC. Omayabu up the middle, slicing his way for 5 and 3rd down coming up.
And he's just trying to make something out of nothing on that play, but because of that something makes it a much more manageable 3rd down.
And for all we know, if they pick up a couple of yards here, they may go for it on 4th down again. 8 minutes to go. 3rd and 3. It's Bronkhorst who's going to keep it, and he's only going to get a yard. Jacob Thielen played that well on the defensive line. The redshirt freshman from Colorado with a stop. So 4th down and 2 and a decision for AngeloSt, and looks like they're going to punt.
And you've got to think too, I think this is a good decision. There is a lot more at stake if you don't get it on this 4th down conversion, because great field position for the Wildcats. A punt is a wise decision. It's a good move.
With how well their defense has been playing
yes,
here over the last few possessions too. Chance to pin ACU deep. Low, fair catch, 25-yard line.
And this one's probably going to come back, and it's going to be a 1st down for AngeloSt.
Is this a roughing the punter?
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Number 1, defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
Huge play.
And he says it was number one. I think it was 2 players for the Wildcats that ran into the punter. And it's just some of these silly mistakes that we've seen from both these teams in the second half that have been so costly as we near the end of this matchup here in the fourth quarter.
Even if that would have been running into, it was only 4th and 2.
Right.
So it would have been a first down anyway. Let's see if we can get a look at it here. Right there, low.
And it's just some of these inexcusable mistakes. Again, these are some things that coaches grill into their players. Do not do this. But we see it time and time again.
Jacob Johnston, the punter, took the hit. In the backfield, they had Greer, and then he slices his way to pick up a yard, makes something out of nothing. Angelo State in position here as we are under 7 to play to use clock and get points. I mean, just a crucial mistake from the AbileneChristian punt unit. So now 2nd and 9. It's Greer. Back to the ground and back into the arms of Jack Gibbons. Another 3rd down coming up. Angelo State 5 of 13 on 3rd down today.
And I think if it would have been closer, if you say it's 10 yards closer, you don't get this 3rd down conversion, they might actually consider the field goal if it's a 4th and 6 or so, just to make it a 2-possession game. But they really need this conversion. They want to try and grill a little bit more of this clock off of the scoreboard.
They need the AbileneChristian 32-yard line. Bronkhorst to throw, 4-man rush, and he is tackled by Jordan Pop, who gets home for the sack. Outside the 40.
And the defense does it again. A big stop on 3rd down. A big sack in the backfield and another crucial decision for Angelo State.
This time they're going to go for it on 4th and 9. Under 5.5 to go. This is going to be a kick. Bronkhorst just put a man in motion and then just quick kicks it, a little pooch punt. And AbileneChristian does get that stop to get their offense the ball with 5 minutes to play.
And I'm not sure what kind of kick that was. I mean, you get it within inside the 20, but at what cost? It might as well just set up for a punt. Because you see this, I mean, lucky enough to even get to the 20-yard line. As we see it go well to the right side of the field. You get a chance to really pin them close to their own goal, into their own goal line. But again, another opportunity here for AbileneChristian.
Down by 7, and they start on the ground. And a helmet comes off as Jeremiah Dobbins takes it across the 25 and having to leave Micah Flowers for a play.
41, Jeremiah Dobbins on the carry.
So, gain of 6 on 1st down to give this offense one more chance to tie this game. They've had a lot of opportunities here lately, and ACU just can't move the ball.
And it's just taking advantage of the opportunities given to you. We've seen some drop passes and some failed blocking. That needs to stop on this drive if they hope to score.
Toss. Dobbins broke 1, broke 2. What a run. 1st down.
And that's what they love about the kid. The freshman just making these great moves, breaking tackles, and getting a big 1st down for the Wildcats. We saw 2 broken tackles there, and a nice shift cut to the left. Ultimately taken down after a big gain.
Special talent out of Lubbock, Texas. 4.5 to go. Both teams with all 3 timeouts. Mansell fakes, looks to set something up, and it's incomplete, and that looked strange from the start. Looked like trying to get it to Tyrese White, but that looked to just be all out of sorts from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. You can tell it was an intended pass back to the left side of the field where the blocking was, but it had really just collapsed. The defense was well over in the area. That's a dangerous pass you want to throw.
Yeah, a couple of guys, Weston Bauer and Darren Allman, who really blew that up. There was nowhere for Mansell to throw that ball. 2nd and 10. Play action. Trying to avoid the sack and nearly threw it right to a Ram. And the interception was dropped by Deshaun Douglas.
And that is 3 potentially dropped interceptions just in the second half from Angelo-State.
Douglas has had a chance at 2 of them.
Exactly. You take a look, Mansell just trying to throw it away, but well too high and to the right. And that is just one of those plays that can ultimately change the outcome of a game.
3rd and 10.
Wildcats are 4 for 13 on 3rd down conversions in this game.
Angelo-State does not have anyone on the D-line with a hand down. And we have a stoppage and a flag and a false start on AbileneChristian, it looks like.
Five-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Gage Hendricks, the right guard. So now 3rd and 10 turns into 3rd and 15. And with 4:07 left, you figured AbileneChristian doesn't get this, they will have to punt and try to use their timeouts.
It's been turnovers for Angelo-State that have created problems in the second half. Similarly, AbileneChristian, it has been penalties for them.
7th of the game, they will get one to Darius Lewis on the outside, and he'll get across the original line of scrimmage and out to the 39-yard line. And the issue here is that the clock is running, and AbileneChristian is going to punt, and we're under 4 to go. An interesting decision there for ACU.
Yeah, they just had to put full faith again in the run game. I'm not sure about this decision. It is 3rd and long. And I think this is, when you run the ball on 3rd and 15, it kind of shows that we don't expect to get the first down, so we're going to play it safe.
But if you don't want to get the first down, that's fine. You have to at least stop the clock. Here is a punt, and they want to get away from it, do the Rams, and it bounces outside the 20. So that eats at least a 40 seconds off the clock. Angelo-State trying to ice this game when we come back. Angelo-State with a chance with 3.5 minutes to go to get a few first downs and ice this game. And Abilene, Texas want to start to the drive. Alfred Greer, who has been the player of the game so far for Angelo-State, picks up a first down to start the drive.
And a couple more big plays. He's
really on the field. If the runner was short of the first down,
it'll
it'll be 2nd down.
In this game, a great way to start the drive and really come up with a big upset. There are just a few big plays away from that as we near 3 minutes left in this game.
Yeah, to your point, 17 rushes, 206 on the ground today for Greer. Averaging 12 yards a carry. 2nd and 1. And Greer did he get enough on forward progress? It's close. He needed the 32. I think he's right at it. Yes, it looks like a first down. They're going to move the chains. 1st and 10, Angelo-State. And now AbileneChristian will have to start using some timeouts. First down, Angelo-State. 2.5 to go. They're going to use as much time as they can here before the snap, and then ACU will have to call 3 straight timeouts. Back to the ground, back to Greer. What a day! Trying to put this game on ice. Coasts for the touchdown. Alfred Greer with his 4th TD today.
And what a career performance. Well over 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has carried the team on his back on the road to come up with what will ultimately be an upset against an FCS school. D2 takes down D1.
What a performance from Alfred Greer. 19 carries, 239 yards. 4 touchdowns. That extra point is no good. way wide to the left. Lane Krumke.
And all it took was just a little bit of help from the offensive line, and he was full steam ahead. And it's not the first time we've seen that either tonight.
Unbelievable performance by these Rams. Coming on the road, they traveled to Abilene this morning. They did not come the night before due to COVID, budget, travel, all of those restrictions. They came this morning to Abilene, and they were ready to play from the opening kick here tonight.
And maybe they'll continue that on into next season, just arrive at every place they come to visit the day of the game, because it seems to be working here tonight.
So they'll kick off, 2:10 to play, and AbileneChristian down 13. Unless something crazy happens here. AngeloState's going to come up with a signature win for their program in their history. They played, it feels like it's been building this whole year in these 4 games. Play West Texas A&M twice, a conference opponent. Go to Stephen F. Austin, outgain the Lumberjacks by over 100 yards. Just have turnovers that ice the game. Jordan Brooks-West across the 35. A spark, and ACU might not be done as he gets all the way out near midfield. But the Wildcats with 2:04 will have to score very quickly. Either hit a stop defensively or an onside kick. The first things first, they'll start from midfield. But AngeloSt outplays Stephen F. Austin, just some special teams miscues, a couple of turnovers. And now they come here and put this performance together against AbileneChristian.
There's going to be a lot of questions that, unfortunately, head coach Adam Dorrell is going to have to answer with the performance today. You win the turnover battle 3-0 as of right now, and you're trailing double digits to a Division II school. While it be a former rival, still is something that raises a question mark. Everything going on this year, there's a lot of, it's a COVID year. There's a lot of things that aren't going the way anyone anticipated. But this is certainly something that a lot of people did not anticipate tonight.
Yeah, it's a valid point for sure. 1:59 left. That incomplete pass intended for Dax Neese. Five men on the rush. That's batted down at the line. Donovan Jackson got up in the air. And there's been a couple of batted balls at the line, and then there's been 3 chances for interceptions for AngeloSt. This defense hasn't forced a turnover, but they've been really opportunistic.
Yeah, when you look at this from AngeloState's perspective, it could have been a whole lot better. It's 34-21, but you got to think, there's been a lot of miscues, a lot of small mistakes that have cost them points and possible turnovers on the defensive side as well.
3rd and 10. 1:56 to go. Tyrese White on the ground. Does he get to the sideline? No, they will keep that clock a-winding, and AbileneChristian calls timeout, and it'll be 4th down after just the gain of 3, and they decide to run it on the ground. And
AbileneChristian will take their first timeout of the half.
This team from opening kickoff just didn't
seem
like they were in the right
timeout.
place. It really seemed like that. We saw something at the beginning of the 3rd quarter, the opening drive touchdown. But after that, it seemed like it just went right back to where we were in the beginning of the game. Both of these teams, it's just been AngeloSt has been ready to play, and AbileneChristian has just struggled to get started.
Is it something as simple as this is just, they flat out overlooked AngeloSt and didn't take it seriously? Because this is a loss that is not going to sit well with folks here in Abilene.
And there's been a lot of close games for AbileneChristian this season. You're going to think Mercer coming off the first season win last week, a very close, hard-fought game. Same thing with Stephen F. Austin. And then on UTEP as well in the season opener. There's been a lot of close losses. But then in this one, this is a loss that was, 1, not expected, and 2, to be this significant as well.
Has it really been that close of a game? To me,
34-21 does not tell the story.
If you take out the AngeloSt turnovers,
right.
I don't know if this game's that close, quite honestly. Mansell running away. 4th down. Winds up, 2 wide, incomplete, and AngeloSt will take over on downs. Intended for Dax Neese. With 1:41 to go, the last heave doesn't happen for AbileneChristian, and there's that final nail in the coffin. for one of the more impressive wins of the year around college football, a Division II going to a Division I FCS. Angelo State is going to be celebrating for a long time.
It's a rare feat to say the least, but you have to go back to the performance from Alfred Greer. Greer, just what a performance. 19 carries, over 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. Again, he carried this team on his back. And when the Wildcats responded early in the second half, he was right back to come in with a final touchdown that sealed the deal.
Trying to look and trying to do some research on how many times the D2's beaten the D1. It does not happen very often, folks. We'll tell you that right now. Here's a handoff. And behind the line of scrimmage is Nate Omayabu III.
AbileneChristian will take their second
AbileneChristian will call it second timeout with
30-second timeout.
1:33 to play. And so second down at 12 coming up. But I think there was a couple of D2s that beat an FCS last season, 2019. But again, there's just not. It's just something that does not happen in college football. Scholarships, depth, money, budget, coaching, recruiting. Nothing ever works in a Division II team's favor. So to have a team come on the road and win by double digits, that's impressive as it gets for this program.
And this is something that the Rams can carry not only into next season, but after that as well, as far as recruiting goes. You can tell these high school athletes, like, look, we are a Division II school, but we play Division I teams, and we've beaten them before.
Back on the ground to Omayabu. No gain, and ACU will call its third and final timeout.
AbileneChristian will take their third and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Two ends of the spectrum for sure. AbileneChristian was supposed to host West Texas A&M back in the middle of October. That did not happen due to COVID-19. So they lost their homecoming game. They sort of had some homecoming festivities today. Wasn't really a homecoming game, but it's the first game in Abilene for AbileneChristian since November the 16th of last year. And not what these fans were expecting to see tonight.
It's certainly not what they wanted to see tonight with everything going on. It's good to have a fresh sense of, okay, we're still having something normal happen. Well, the outcome of this game certainly wasn't normal.
3rd and 12 with 1:27 to go. AbileneChristian out of timeouts. On the ground, it's Greer. Why not? Up the middle for about 8 yards.
He still seems like he can go another quarter.
He's had the final laugh for sure. 20 carries for both Omayabu and Greer. But Greer's had the career day. 20 carries, over 240 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has been nothing short of spectacular. Under a minute left tonight. So the Rams will take this into their offseason. 4 games this fall, that's it. Getting ready for next year, and there's no better way to go into your offseason than with a road win at a Division I school. It's the biggest win this program will ever have.
And that's the best feeling you can ever have. Not only are you going on the road to play a team that everyone expects you to lose by likely double digits, but not only do you beat the team, you beat them handily. This team AbileneChristian had no chance. They had a little bit in the 4th quarter, but nothing got rolling on offense. Other than that, Angelo State took full control in this game right on opening kickoff.
Angelo State with 467 total yards tonight. 414 on the ground. That's how good this team has been rushing. They have only needed 53 passing yards, and they've held ACU to just 206 total for yardage tonight. This is as shocking of a game as I've ever been. Had the pleasure to put a headset on and call. I am very surprised by what we've seen here tonight.
I still go back to the discussions we had with head coach Jeff Gersh for Angelo State, and he continually said, we love to be balanced on offense, but he didn't even need to focus on that because the running game was the only thing he needed to come out on top here tonight.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't
fix it.
Worry about it. Muffed kick here, Jordan Brooks West, ball's loose still. And that's 100% the final nail in this coffin here tonight for AbileneChristian. A bobble just outside the 10-yard line. And now the question is, what does AbileneChristian go from here? ArizonaChristian from the NAIA comes to Abilene next Saturday. And then they're going to go to Virginia. How much are you going to learn about your team over the next 2 weeks? It's hard to say.
It really is. You go back to the ArizonaChristian game. They played them last time around, and it was an obvious blowout. It was going to be a blowout early on.
Right.
So there's not going to be a question about that outcome. But then same thing with Virginia. So it's hard to say what they're going to learn in the final 2 weeks, but still 2 weeks left in the season.
Mansell down the field, and that's caught by Darius Lewis to the 39-yard line. But a final heave a little too late for these Wildcats, and they'll clock it here with 21 seconds. That's a bright spot, though, for Lewis, having himself his best collegiate day, the freshman. Now 7 catches for over 80 yards today.
Yeah, he's done a good job really filling that hole with Kobe Clark being out for the Wildcats in this game. It's something he can build off on and still has plenty of time to improve his talent at the wide receiver position.
Mansell, quick throw again to the 49. And Hohenstein, the tight end. 15 seconds. And they'll clock it here. 13 ticks to go tonight. And I think it's, you just can't oversell and overstate this enough, how impressive this is for the city of San Angelo and for this university in particular to come to their old rival, who's now Division I, and to come into their house and win in dominant fashion. Here's Mansell. Slinging one here, and another chance at an interception. Mansell does not have a pick thrown tonight, but he's had almost 4 of them thrown in the game. That one was dropped.
There's a reason they're cornerbacks and not wide receivers. I always go back to that.
I was waiting for you to throw that line out for sure. That was Kason McCullough Cooper. Couldn't hang on to it. 7 seconds left tonight. And Mansell. Deep shot, no one there. 4th down with 3 seconds to go. Final thought on this one here today.
One team was ready to play. The other one was, it's hard to say where they were. They weren't here. They weren't ready. And that's something that's going to be a big question going into the next week, because their season, AbileneChristian's season, is not over. AngeloSt, this was their final performance of the season, and it was a great one.
To the outside, it's Hohenstein. And he's just trying to work it and lose it, and lost the football, and that's a fumble, and that is it. What a performance from AngeloSt. It's their biggest win in school history. Once again, the final, AngeloSt 34 and AbileneChristian 21. This has been a presentation of Southland Conference football on ESPN+. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. Until next time, Zach Carlisle, Owen Simpson, and our entire crew, the gang headed by Hutton Harris, Glenn Lasoya, saying so long, take care, good night from Abilene, Texas.